Okay, you're live.
We're live.
Yeah.
This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the police body cam. Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope. We're here in front of the county jail, Prince William County Adult Detention Center here in Virginia. This is a county jail right behind me. Mustafa has been held in solitary confinement in Prince William County Adult Detention Center for over 2 years, where the prosecutor Sarah Sammy, refused to take Mustafa to trial, refused to put the evidence on the record. Over 2 years. We're asking them to take Mustafa to trial. Where is this prosecutor terrified? And why is this prosecutor not taking Mustafa to trial? We have a sealed file. Mustafa's file is sealed by Commonwealth Amy Ashworth. Unfortunately for her, I got my hand on that file, the police body cams, the document, every piece of evidence in evidence.com. I have it, and I'm leaking it on the internet, where we're going to tell you what Prosecutor Sarah Sammy is terrified from and why she's refusing to take Mustafa to trial. We have Mohammed here. Mohammed, I want to thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, unfortunately for Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, not only that we have the sealed file, we have the audio recording from the proceeding inside the court. Now, Mustafa have not had trial, but he had multiple bonds where the prosecutor, every single time, she would lie to the presiding judge, Judge Carol Weimer.
She's flat out lying.
Flat out lying.
Misrepresenting what the evidence shows, misrepresenting what the children are saying. I mean, you know, you have a clip right there directly from the bond hearing of August, took place in August of 2023. Why don't you go ahead and play that?
All right.
The court having not only this dash camera, in addition to two minor children's basically interviews with a specially trained special victims unit detective, separately, they both indicate that they were fighting that day. Also, that this defendant had a habit of driving like this, running red lights, going into oncoming traffic in an attempt to scare them.
Now, I'm going to pause it here. Prosecutor Sarah Sammy said three things. She indicated there's a dash camera in Mustafa's vehicle. Mm-hmm. Now, this dash camera is sealed by the Commonwealth Attorney. To this day, they've sealed this dash camera. She indicated that there are kids that are saying...
She said two kids, by the way. Two kids. There's 4 kids.
She's avoiding to talk about... Specifically, she's avoiding to talk about Pharaoh, Dorothy's 10-year-old child.
You know, I wonder why.
I wonder why. Well, we're going to find out, because I have the forensic video that the Commonwealth Attorney have sealed. I got my hand on that file, on that video, and I'm leaking it. Now, when you watch what Pharaoh is talking about, you're going to find out why Prosecutor Sarah is avoiding to talk about Pharaoh.
When you say sealed, what do you mean by sealed?
Okay, so sealed, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth went to the presiding judge, Judge Carol Weimer, and she asked Judge Weimer to seal off the file. So basically, and normally you can FOIA request anything in Mustafa's file. The documents, the dash camera, the police body cam. You should be able, under the Freedom of Information Act, you should be able to put it in a FOIA and be able to access the material in the file. Now, in this case, specifically in Mustafa's case, and you're going to find out why they're doing what they're doing. Every police report is falsified. There is police misconduct in Mustafa's file. So Commonwealth Amy Ashworth went to a judge, Judge Carol Weimer, and she got this judge to seal off the file. So now you can no longer verify what this prosecutor is telling you. They can flat out lie about Mustafa, and that's exactly what they've been doing. I have the recording of inside the court that will show you that this prosecutor is lying. Now, I have the whole file. Unfortunately for her, I got my hand on this file. The problem with sealing a file, that you can no longer go to the federal government and ask them to look into the county police misconduct, because they'll tell you, like, if you, what I'm talking about, if you go to the Department of Justice and you tell them they falsified Mustafa's police report, They've engaged in police misconduct. They'll tell you, we are the federal government. We have no access into this file because it is sealed by the Commonwealth Attorney Amy Ashworth under Judge Carol Weimer. And this is the problem.
And she sealed it from the defendant as well. So he's not even allowed to see what's in evidence.
Mustafa sits in a county jail for over 2 years, and he is not allowed to look at his file. So here's the situation. You're charging Mustafa with a bunch of charges, and you're not letting him see what you're charging him with?
So how can he prepare a proper defense when he doesn't even know what the accusations are?
So this is
how does that even work?
This is a giant problem. You go to the federal government. I mean, when the county, the state fail you, you're supposed to be able to go to the federal government and have them look at the police misconduct. But in this case, you can't do that because they'll flat out tell you it is sealed on the county level. It is sealed on the state level. We can't go in.
And anyone that questions it, like we had a delegate, Kelly Fowler, that reached out to Amy Ashworth, and she's asking, why is this man held without bond after a car accident? I mean, what are you holding this man on? Why is he not? He doesn't have a criminal background. This was an accident. Clearly, it's an accident. There's evidence to show from the police department that there was brake failure. There's evidence to show that this is nothing more than an accident.
They falsified the case. They falsified Mustafa's statement. They falsified every police report. And every piece of evidence showed this is a vehicle accident.
Yet the prosecutor says to a delegate of Virginia, she says, you don't know what I know. She sealed it. So she seals it, and then she tells her, you can't know what I know because it's currently under seal.
And you have an email. At the time, Delegate Kelly Fowler sent you the communication back and forth between her and Commonwealth Amy Ashworth.
Yep.
And in the email, she says, you don't know what I know, what I'm building a case on Mustafa Al-Jazari. Now, mind you, the file is sealed, and she would not share anything with Delegate Kelly Fowler because she sealed it. And now Delegate Kelly Fowler, picture this, as a delegate, she's walking away from this situation with a Commonwealth attorney telling her, you don't know what I know. Now, unfortunately for this Commonwealth attorney, we have the file, the whole entire file. I have the police body cams, the documents, every piece of evidence that Commonwealth Amy Ashworth has, I have it.
So
now, my question is, how, and this is more, it's a plea for help. I'm reaching out to Delegate Kelly Fowler. At the same time, I'm asking this delegate, we're leaking out the file. How are you okay with a Commonwealth attorney lying to you? I mean, you're a delegate. You say you're here for the community. You've reached out to this Commonwealth attorney, and she flat out lied to you. And I can prove to you that she lied to you because I have the whole file. I have the police body cam. I have the documents. I have every piece of evidence that will show you that this Commonwealth attorney lied to you.
Is lying. I mean, you just played a clip where the prosecutor says she has a dash cam. She says two of the children who are allegedly witnesses. I mean, they weren't in the car. They were at home. But the prosecutor wants to use these children that have been weaponized by the police department.
And we have evidence that they've been weaponized.
They've been lied to. They've been abused by the police, only to say something negative about Mustafa. But even despite all the coaching that this prosecutor, that this police department did to these kids, despite all the abuse that they put these children through, children will always say the truth. You know, it always comes back to the truth. Okay? Now, the prosecutor said she has testimony from two children that were interviewed separately by forensic psychologists. Okay? And they say that Mustafa and Dorothy were arguing prior to leaving the apartment. Now, she left one of the children out, one of the interviews, with Pharaoh, who describes in detail what this alleged argument was about.
Because in court, the prosecutor specifically says that this argument was about a previous ex-boyfriend, and she goes on to Judge Carol Weimer, and she tells him, Your Honor, Mustafa was arguing with his girlfriend inside the vehicle, before the vehicle, about an ex-boyfriend. Now, that's disturbing because we have evidence that Mustafa does, according to the boyfriend on a police body cam, the ex-boyfriend, Glenn Ford, says, Mustafa doesn't know me. Now, I find it interesting that when investigator Robert Drum talked to Mustafa doesn't know Glenn Ford, doesn't know the ex-boyfriend. And then specifically, when you listen to the recorded phone call conversation between Mustafa and this investigator Robert Drum, Mustafa had nothing but nice things to say about Glenn Ford, the ex-boyfriend.
Yep.
But this prosecutor stands in court and says, Your Honor, there was a huge argument between Mustafa and Dorothy. And specifically, she leaves Pharaoh, the 10-year-old child, out, and she doesn't want to talk about Pharaoh. Now, I have the forensic video evidence. And you don't have to take my word for it in this conversation. I'm going to show you the forensic interview, and the child is going to tell you the content of the argument. What is Prosecutor Sarah Sammy hiding in court? That she's terrified to talk about Pharaoh, that these forensic interviews are sealed. Mustafa can't see it. The family can't see it. The community can't see it. Let's watch the forensic interview.
So before you go into the forensic interview, so she said three things. That was the second thing, that there was an alleged argument. The third thing is she says that Mustafa has an extensive history of driving into oncoming traffic. That's not true. I mean, we're looking at the discovery file where there is an FBI report of his driving history. You know, I mean, when you think the FBI did a search on his background, okay, and you see no moving violation. There's no moving violations on his record at all.
And the prosecutor has that in Mustafa's file, that he has perfect driving record provided to her by the FBI.
But she mischaracterized that to a judge in August of 2023, telling him that this individual, this defendant, has an extensive history of driving reckless, of driving into oncoming traffic. And that is not true. I mean, you see from the dash cam, you see from Pharaoh's interview, the child, he says Dorothy was asking Mustafa to take her to the cemetery. We find out through this interview that Dorothy was going to leave on her own, but she decided to come back into the apartment to wake Mustafa up and have him take her to the cemetery. I mean, if...
Wait a minute, that's not what the prosecutor in court says, that this is premeditated murder, that on that day Mustafa was angry at Dorothy, was arguing with her about a previous ex-boyfriend, and on that day he specifically put her in a vehicle, put 5-year-old Empress in a vehicle, only to wreck the car later.
I mean,
that's what the prosecutor claims and says in court.
You can't blame that on the prosecutor not having enough information, because she's specifically referencing the child's interview, okay? So we can't say that this prosecutor didn't know what the child said. She knows exactly what the child said, okay? We can't say that, well, she didn't have his driving record. No, she had it. It's in the record, okay? There's an NCIS report in yellow from the FBI showing his entire driving history. None of them are moving violations.
So the child forensic interview, the reason she's avoiding the child forensic interview, specifically Pharaoh, is because once you introduce that into the records, her theory about what is going on falls apart.
Exactly.
She can no longer say this is premeditated, because the child in the forensic interview is telling the psychologist on video that Mustafa was arguing there was an argument back and forth, not about a previous ex-boyfriend. It's because Dorothy woke him up. She was going to take her vehicle, and then on the last minute decided to have Mustafa take her. So she goes over to Mustafa, she wakes him up, and is asking him to take her to her mom's anniversary. That's according to the child.
By the way, we say, like, according to the child, this is what the other kids are saying. When we're literally sitting here telling the prosecutor, telling the police department, hey, we have Google Nest videos from inside the apartment from that day. So, you don't have to speculate as to what an argument was about, or if there was an argument, if there wasn't. We have videos from the apartment. But, I find it really interesting that the police department is not interested in these Google Nest videos. Why are they so not interested? Why is the prosecutor trying her very best to avoid taking into account these videos from inside the apartment the day of the accident, and the entire week.
Because her narrative is going to fall apart. Are we talking about the home Google Nest videos that Commonwealth Amy Ashworth threatened you and kicked you out of her office when you were simply trying to provide her with Google Nest home videos that will show you the day of the vehicle accident and days on before?
I mean,
She kicked you out, and she said, what she threatened you with arrest?
she said, I'm going to have the sheriff remove you from the office if you don't leave. The Commonwealth attorney is not going to sit with you.
This
He's not gonna
is
talk to you.
very disturbing because you're charging Mustafa with premeditated murder. In court, the prosecutor gives out a narrative. They're not interested in evidence.
They're not interested in evidence because
Interesting.
it goes against their narrative. And by the way, it gets like we're talking about what the prosecutor said. We're talking about what the child said in the forensic interview. This case goes much, much deeper. I mean, you talk about evidence that is being deleted, body cams that should be on evidence.com that are no longer there.
You're talking about DC police officer Andrew Margiotto and the discovery. He has a statement where he uploaded the body cam into evidence.com. And when we open evidence.com,
It's not there.
it's not there.
No, I mean, not only you when you open it, the attorneys, when they open up this file, they say they see a statement. An
Forget the
affidavit.
attorney. I have evidence that this body cam does not exist in evidence.com.
Look, and-
I haven't come out with that piece of evidence, but I
And-
have evidence that this body cam, I have a statement from DC officer Andrew Margiotto that he uploaded it into evidence.com, and I have evidence that that body cam is not in evidence.com. So are we talking about the police department actively deleting a crucial police body cam that's going to give you insight into what happened that day?
And I mean, that body cam is so crucial to this case because, number one, the witness says that Dorothy was still conscious and that she had turned around and reached to the back. So she was still conscious, okay, according to the witness that first arrived on the scene. Now,
You're talking about the police officer, or you're talking about the off-duty paramedic?
Off-duty paramedic describes Dorothy as being awake and conscious.
And he
when
says she
arrived.
is stable.
And he says
He
she's
says
stable.
Dorothy is stable, 5-year-old Empress is stable.
So that, that's like, why are we going to speculate as to what Dorothy said, what she did after the accident? Maybe she gave Mustafa a hug. Okay. Maybe they hugged before, whatever. The other thing is Chad Mason claims that this dash cam wire got unplugged, got pulled out somehow. We know it wasn't the airbag. Okay, and we know none of them did it because they were on video.
We know it's not the airbag because the dash camera cuts off before impact, before the airbag depletes.
According to the police, that's what happened. That's what the police are telling. By the way, the same police, Robert Drum and Chad Mason, who admitted on the stand recently, they admitted that they mishandled this digital evidence. Okay, Chad Mason got on the stand and he stated on the record, he said he was supposed to send this dash cam to digital forensics, who is supposed to analyze this dash camera, and they're supposed to retrieve the footage and then put it on evidence.com. Yet he admits that he took this dash cam, him and Robert Drum, plugged it into their personal laptop and reviewed the footage and tampered with the files prior to sending it to digital forensics.
Commonwealth Amy Ashworth on NBC4 says this dash camera does not have audio. Now, here's a problem. You're talking about a dash camera, Mustafa's dash camera. It's a very expensive dash camera. It's a Rex. It's a very well-known brand, Rexon dash camera. If you were to buy a dash camera, you would go Best Buy. It's like a $500 dash camera. This dash camera has audio. Now, what do we have when we open Mustafa's file? When you open evidence.com, the dash camera is sealed. I have access to it. I leaked it on the internet. Now, this dash camera, one, it cuts off before impact. Two, there are 17 frames. This dash camera sees the outside, sees the inside. There are 17 frames missing from Mustafa's facial expression. The camera on the inside stops at 8.0. The outside stops at 8.3. And we'll go into what I'm talking about. There are 17 frames missing from Mustafa's dash camera, from Mustafa's facial expression. Now, this dash camera, they're saying it doesn't have audio. It cuts off before impact. There are 17 frames missing from the camera facing inward. They sit on 2 different frames. This dash camera is manually cut. Now, in the file, we have a document. Commonwealth Amy Ashworth on NBC4 says they don't have the audio. There is no audio. Now, tell me why when I open the file, Officer Zymus with Digital Forensic says that they're in possession of the audio. They have the audio.
She specifically said that this file did have an audio track.
Now,
That's what she
isn't
said.
this exculpatory evidence? Now, isn't it illegal to withhold exculpatory evidence? You're telling me they have the audio, they say it doesn't have audio. The document says they're in possession of the audio. The audio capability is on,
Audio capability is turned on.
and there's a clear audio file on the SD card. Wouldn't you think the first thing you do in this case is to hire an expert? By law, you can hire an expert that's going to go and download the SD card that the police department is in possession of to download the audio. I mean, now that we have a document that says the audio is there, download the audio.
Look, let's examine the body cam where Robert Drum reaches out to Rexing. He not a single time in his conversation to Rexing did he ever mention that this dash cam was missing audio.
That's right. We have a body cam where he never talks about the audio.
I mean, wouldn't you think that a case?
What do you mean? In another body cam, he's talking to he's on a body cam, and he says on a body cam that he heard Mustafa and Dorothy talk about court. He's describing the content of the conversation.
Mustafa had court Friday. So it was a couple days after the accident.
So when you sit there, from the Commonwealth attorneys, goes on NBC4 and says there is no audio, your investigator, the investigator that we have proof have falsified Mustafa's statements, on a body cam that you sealed, says, I heard the content of the conversation, and he began to detail the conversation, and he says, they're talking about court.
You know,
why are we talking about it? Mohammed, I'm going to play the body cam. Can I play the body cam?
Yeah, not only that, but Investigator Zymus actually says, although, this is her words, although the last several videos did not appear to have audio.
That's right.
The last several videos did not appear to have audio. I mean, you're digital forensics. It's literally her job. Okay? And she says the last several videos didn't have audio. I mean, I'm looking at 469 files from this dash cam, and not a single one plays audio. That's not the last several videos.
Now, the community is going to tell you you're making giant allegation. What is your proof? Now, every time you jump on this podcast, I remind you that you don't have to take my word for it. I'm telling you, I have the file that Commonwealth Amy Ashworth sealed. Now, you can take the Commonwealth attorney's word for it. She tells you that she's the Commonwealth attorney. Because she's a Commonwealth attorney, you should flat out believe her without releasing any piece of evidence. I tell you the opposite. I tell you, when you jump on this podcast, you don't have to take my word for it. I have the file that she's hiding from you. Mohammed, if you want to do me a favor, if you want to go over to exhibits, I'm going to put the document where Officer Zymus says, one, she has the audio, and she says the files, exactly what you just talked about.
The last several videos.
Let me play the video.
Go ahead.
My name is Katie Zamus. I'm a detective in digital forensics on the Prince William County Police Department.
I'm going to rewind just a little bit.
My name is Katie Zamus.
Let's say this really quick. If you're a piece of shit of an officer that engaged in police misconduct, my advice to you, don't make videos on Facebook out for this community. I mean, this file is being leaked.
She's bragging about her work. How good she is at her job.
I mean, the next time you get your Starbucks coffee, the person behind the counter is going to recognize you and is going to tell you, why are you hiding the audio in Mustafa's file? Why are you covering up for a police department that's hiding a crucial piece of evidence?
Exactly. Where's the evidence? I mean, you claim you have it. Where is it? The lawyers don't see it. We don't see it. Where is it?
Detective in digital forensics on the Prince William County Police Department.
Now, this is the document. Mom, this is the document. And it says, although the last several videos recorded on the device did not appear to have sound, the sound record feature on the device was turned on. The file did have an audio track. Now, this document was issued April 24, 2023. Mustafa was arrested. The accident happened April 5th, 2023. Mustafa was arrested on April 7, 2023. This document is April 24, 2023. So you're talking about over 2 years, and the Commonwealth Attorney blocks every effort to simply hire, by law, you can hire an independent expert to go in and download the audio on the SD card that they're in possession
original
of.
files.
I mean, this is exculpatory evidence. This document is sealed. This is exculpatory evidence. It's illegal to withhold exculpatory evidence. Why is this Mustafa in solitary confinement and he can't download the audio? It's been over 2 years. I mean, the minute you download the audio, Mustafa's coming home because this investigator claimed that Mustafa told him that he was arguing with Dorothy inside the vehicle.
And we know
There's
that's
an
a lie.
audio. We know that the police department already admitted that that's a lie. There's an audio recording that you recorded between Mustafa and the investigator. Mustafa never said that. This investigator flat out falsified Mustafa's statement. He wrote in his police report that Mustafa told him I was arguing inside the vehicle. This did not happen. There's an audio of the conversation. Mustafa never said that.
We also have a conversation with Internal Affairs, who tell us that when you complained about Robert Drum falsifying Mustafa's statement, Internal Affairs reached out to you. They wanted to sit down with you. We came in together. We sat down with First Sergeant Sean Shelton of Internal Affairs of Prince William County, and he listened to the audio that I had between Mustafa and Drum, and he agreed
I recorded the interaction between me and Sean Shelton. It's a 90-minute conversation. It's on YouTube.
Okay, and he agreed with us that Robert Drum mischaracterized Mustafa's statements. He completely flipped it around. Okay, so, and that they were going to investigate it, and he says, we have to get to the bottom of why he did it. Okay, the next day, Internal Affairs reaches back out, and they say, can we have that audio that we listened to in the office, your audio, can we have it? And you said, sure, I can give it to you. And he tells you, we want it because we want to authenticate it. We want to match it with Robert Drum's body cam recording, because according to Internal Affairs, Robert Drum also recorded the conversation, which we now know is a lie. Robert
Now,
Drum.
Amy Ashworth, my question to you is, why is it that when I go into evidence.com, when I open evidence.com, there is no body cam recording between Mustafa and investigator Robert Drum? Sean Shelton with Internal Affairs, sir, you flat out lied to us.
Flat out lied.
I have a recording that you said that you're authenticating our audio with the body cam that you already have in the file. Robert Drum never recorded that conversation. And if it wasn't for you recording it, now we would be in a situation where it's Mustafa's word against a police officer that's been there with the department for over 20 years. The bottom line is he falsified Mustafa's statements.
And then,
Mustafa never said that. Now, here's the problem. I'm looking at a document where the Commonwealth Attorney says this dash camera does not have audio. Officer Zymus says she's in possession of the audio. Why can't we hire an expert to download the SD card? By law, you should be able. This is exonerating evidence. Now, here's the problem. One of the biggest problems that they're going to have, the prosecutor, is not only that you're getting the audio on this dash camera that's going to show there is no argument inside the vehicle. You're going to get the dash camera when Mustafa is door dashing. According to Robert Drum on a police body cam, Robert Drum said that Mustafa is door dashing. My question is, the prosecutor in court tells Judge Weimer that two of the children indicated that Mustafa is a reckless driver and he would use reckless driving behavior to scare his family. Now, that's interesting. You're relying on children to tell you if Mustafa is a reckless driver. You're relying on a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old that do not drive. Okay, how do you know that those kids were sitting in Mustafa's vehicle, that Mustafa was trying to pass the vehicle in front of him? and we've all done this when we're driving and the person is driving slow in front of us. We go into the other lane to pass the. How do you know those children did not perceive that as a reckless driver?
By the way, that's illegal.
Now-
That's a legal maneuver.
Exactly.
In Virginia.
But here is the problem. Put all that to the side. When you find out in the forensic interview that the children have been weaponized, what am I talking about? One of Dorothy's children is talking about that the investigator told him that Mustafa had wrecked the car, ran away from the scene, and left his 5-year-old baby to bleed to death, and they could have saved her if Mustafa had not ran away. That's a lie. This investigator have weaponized this child. He weaponized those children. This never happened. Mustafa was in a coma. There's a body cam where Mustafa is laying in front of his vehicle in a coma. Mustafa was helicoptered to the hospital. These children have been weaponized, and the reason they sealed these police body cams, these forensic interview, because the child himself is telling you in a forensic interview, this is what they've told me. I mean, imagine your child is being weaponized in this fashion. That they're telling him he jumped out, he ran away, he let your 5-year-old baby sister to bleed to death. We could have said, you're lying to the child.
It's child abuse.
And then it's absolutely child abuse.
They're putting that child through trauma that he shouldn't be going through based on lies.
And this prosecutor sits in court and tells Judge Weimer, Your Honor, I have children that are saying Mustafa is a reckless driver. Why are you relying on children that have been weaponized? Why are you relying on children to begin with? They don't drive. When specifically your investigator, Robert Drum, is talking about Mustafa's dash camera shows that he's door dashing.
Exactly.
Hold on now. Hold on. This is exculpatory evidence. Why is it Amy Ashworth, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, why is it when I open evidence.com, your police department did not download that portion from the SD card, from Mustafa's dash camera, into Mustafa's file? Are they avoiding how Mustafa drives just so they can lie, just so this prosecutor can lie about Mustafa? That's exactly what they're doing.
I mean,
This is exculpatory evidence.
when they say he's a bad driver, okay, and you have videos of him door dashing, hours and hours of him door dashing, why not show us? Why not put it in the court system? Why not put it on the record? It's because it doesn't exist.
Now,
And
that's
the truth.
Now, Mohammed, the first video I want to play the video where Dorothy's child, 14-year-old child, tell you that he's been weaponized by the police department. He specifically says, I jumped at Mustafa. They told me, investigator told me.
Detectives told me.
Detective told me that Mustafa jumped out, left my baby sister, 5-year-old sister, to bleed to death, and they could have saved her if Mustafa did not run away. Let's watch that forensic interview.
When he got into the car crash, the detective said he jumped out and ran, left my baby sitting there. And if he just thought to bring her to the hospital, maybe she would have made it, but she didn't because he decided to be a coward. And now she's gone. And now all I have is my 2 brothers. She was the sweetest. She would never even hurt a fly. She was innocent too. 25. Now my mom's gone. Now she's gone. It's because of one man that I trusted. My mom kept on telling me he's a good guy. I kept on saying, okay. Alright, I told her, I had my suspicions and I should have went with my gut. I knew something wasn't right. And I still believed her, and that's why they're gone today.
Mohammed, the child says, I trusted Mustafa. Mom always told me to trust Mustafa. So that gives you insight to what kind of relationship, how much Dorothy, Mustafa's girlfriend, trusted
him.
She trusted him. And he says, investigator told me Mustafa jumped out, ran away from the scene, and left my 5-year-old baby sister to bleed to death. And they could have saved her if Mustafa had not run away.
And he's getting that information from the detectives. The same detectives that were on the scene that physically saw Mustafa get carried in a helicopter. The same detectives that were interrogating him at the hospital, where Mustafa was not released until Chad Mason signed off at the hospital for his release. He wasn't allowed to leave until Chad Mason signed off his discharge documents.
Are we talking about... So now we're talking about the prosecutor sits in court and want to rely on those children. And she told Judge Carol Weimer, Your Honor, the children are saying he's a bad driver. Well, of course, they're going to tell you every negative thing in the book about Mustafa. You just told them that Mustafa ran away,
Crashed the car on purpose. That's what they told him.
crashed the car on purpose.
And left your little sister to bleed to death. If he had not run away, they could have saved that little girl. That's what they told the children. That's 100% child abuse.
Now, this is...
I mean, you're supposed to... These kids just lost their mother. And the police are supposed to be comforting these children. They're supposed to be taking care of them psychologically. I mean, they don't know where to go from there. That's their mom. You're going to tell them that your mom died in an intentional crash when you have evidence upon evidence to show this was nothing more than a car accident? When you can see that there was brake failure, you have the dash camera inside the car that shows no argument.
I mean, they're passing a cigarette back and forth 8 times. Is that what? I mean, that's why they sealed this dash camera. That's why to today, the only way you can access this dash camera is because I stole it from Commonwealth Amy Ashworth and I leaked it on the internet. And when you watch this dash camera, they're telling you about an argument. Mustafa and Dorothy are passing back and forth a cigarette 8 times. Not once, not twice, not 3, 8 times.
You know, based on that specific lie, Robert Drum told the medical examiner, you know, who did the autopsy of Dorothy and Empress, and he puts in his report that he ruled this death as a homicide simply because he was given information that the driver, Mustafa Al-Jazari, drove into oncoming traffic while Dorothy, the passenger, was protesting.
So here's a problem. The Commonwealth attorney seals off...
That's why they ruled it as a homicide.
So the Commonwealth attorney, Amy Ashworth, seals off the body cam, and she has an investigator that already falsified Mustafa's statement, and he's going around telling you the content of this dash camera that no one is allowed to see.
I mean, he's telling other agencies to rule based on his finding. His finding is that Dorothy was protesting while Mustafa was driving into... Like, basically, they're fighting, and she's fighting for her life, and then they have...
What do you mean? When you watch the dash camera, they're passing a cigarette back and forth 8 times.
And they have Dorothy's half-brother gets on Fox 5 and says, my sister was on the phone. She was begging for help as this monster was driving into... That's not true. Let's take a look at the dash camera.
Mohammed, I want to go specifically into the scene at the vehicle accident where you can see Mustafa is laying in a coma in front of his vehicle, where you have other police officer lie about Mustafa to this investigator. Specifically, Officer Casey Fine would go up to investigator Robert Drum. Now, Mustafa is laying in a coma in front of his vehicle, and you have Officer Casey Fine lie to the main investigator, telling him, and he's laughing, by the way, when he's smirking and laughing, telling him, knowing him, this is drug-related. Mustafa's toxicology report, no alcohol and no drugs. Let's watch that body cam real quick. Now, they told the child, Dorothy's child, they weaponized him by telling him, Mustafa jumped out, ran away, left your 5-year-old sister, baby sister, to bleed. We could have saved her if he hadn't run away. This is a body cam where Mustafa was in a coma, and Mustafa was helicoptered to the hospital. They lied to the child.
Anything else? No, we'll figure out where the bodies are going in a minute. Witnesses, anybody say what happened?
Yeah, there's a lady right over here in the black. She saw everything.
Okay.
I believe.
By the way, when he says there's a lady back here that saw everything, that's a lie. I mean, you have all 6 statements from the alleged witnesses, and each single one of them, in their written statement and on body cam, say they never saw the accident as it occurred, that they only arrived after the fact.
As a matter of fact, one of the witnesses says, I heard Mustafa slam on the brake.
I heard his brake squeal.
I heard his brake squeal.
Brake skid, brake squeal, whatever she said. But she heard that prior to the impact. We know from the data recorder of both vehicles that the SUV driver never hit the brake. We know from Mustafa's data recorder that Mustafa was on the brake the whole entire time. So brake skid could only come from one vehicle, and that's Mustafa's.
Well, there are pictures that the main investigator took that Mustafa hit the brake. There are brake marks from before the intersection, before the vehicle ended up in the other side. There are skid marks. There are brake marks there that Robert Drum and Chad Mason took pictures. It's in the file, okay? But they get in court and say there are no brake marks. Mustafa, okay, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Let's continue watching this body cam.
This car is the at fault. This is the driver of that vehicle. Okay.
Thank you.
By the way, just for context, this is Mustafa. I'm zooming in. This is Mustafa. So when they're telling the children that Mustafa ran away, jumped out, we could have saved your 5. Mustafa was in a coma.
Exactly. How can you run away if you're in a coma? How could you run away if you're literally being put on a helicopter, being airlifted to the hospital?
Mohammed, they weaponized the children so the prosecutor can sit in court and say, Your Honor, I have forensic interview. The children are saying he's a reckless driver. Specifically when they have Mustafa door dashing on the dash camera that they're in possession of that they refuse to put on the record. I mean, they're not downloading it into evidence.com. This is illegal. This is exonerating, exculpatory evidence. Okay, let's continue.
Evidence that would exonerate him. Evidence that goes completely against the narrative. And once this evidence is on the record, the prosecutor has no leg to stand on.
That's why they're
She has no
terrified.
case.
That's why they're terrified. They don't want to subpoena the SD card. When you're going to get the audio, they say there is the audio, and the file it says they have the audio. And 2, you're going to get Mustafa when he's door dashing. And what are you going to find on this door dashing? Is Dorothy right next to him? Is he hugging Dorothy? Is it a beautiful relationship? That's why they're terrified. The prosecutor will no longer have a leg to stand on once you put that on the record. Let's continue watching this dash camera.
So at fault so far. Crossed over what, oncoming traffic?
I'm not 100% sure. Knowing him, though, it's probably drug related.
Okay. If that's the case, I want somebody to go get a blood draw. If he's driving,
They said he's driving, but I've had contact with him before, not driving, but he was out of it.
see if somebody can do a blood draw on him. 'Cause apparently the kid and mom already did.
Okay.
That is not true. That is not true. He's like, according to mom, they're already dead. And then another police officer comes up to him and tells him,
for that SUV.
Fine, SUV. So apparently I think the kid's dead and the mom's gonna die.
He said kid is still alive currently.
Okay. He's telling me that guy's probably drug related. So I need a blood draw on Don.
according to the off-duty paramedic, Dorothy and 5-year-old Empress were stable, so they could have medevaced him, but something happened. There is neglect. They did not I mean, every time I talk to Mustafa, he's like, why didn't they helicopter my family?
Exactly. Why didn't they?
Specifically, when on the file, they said they don't have to medevac Mustafa.
Yeah,
I mean, in one of the body cams, they're like, oh, he's good.
Chad Mason asks
Yeah.
the medic while Mustafa's in the ambulance. He says, does he need medevac? And the paramedic says no. If that's the case, why did you not airlift Empress, who went to the same hospital, Fairfax?
Instead, they put her in an
Over an
ambulance
hour
truck.
away.
They put her in an ambulance truck over an hour away and failed to airlift her. I mean, is that why the body cam is missing? Officer Margiotto, Andy Margiotto from D.C., he said, I uploaded my body cam. By the way, he was the first officer on scene before the 911 call were coming in. I think he was there. It's in the document. He said he was there. He was already there.
He was already in the area. He was the first person to arrive on scene. He actually was directing traffic. As a matter of fact, in his statement, he says he specifically told the bystanders, everyone around the vehicle, not to remove anyone from the vehicle. He says, because the vehicle is not on fire, don't remove anyone from the vehicle. Yet, an individual did remove Empress from the car. We know that. He said he cut the seatbelt. They pried the door open. And
Dorothy and Empress and Mustafa were already out of the vehicle by the time the paramedics and everybody got there.
So here's the deal.
And specifically,
You have-
Andrew Margiotto said that Dorothy was conscious and she was reaching back to Empress. So she was conscious. So
So-
Dorothy was alive, conscious. And then according to the off-duty paramedic, Dorothy and 5-year-old Empress were stable.
Were stable.
So
He
why
says-
did they not airlift?
He says there was no major bleeding and that they were stable. Now, I mean, I can never get over this. you have an officer that has an affidavit on the record. He says he uploaded his body camera to evidence.com. I mean, this is the most crucial moment in this entire case. It's the most crucial moment. It's the time when Mustafa, Dorothy, and Empress are potentially still alive. I mean, they're sitting in the car right after the accident. And this officer is going home. He's passing by, and this accident happens right in front of him. He's the first person on the scene. The first thing he does is he get out and he turns on his body cam. This is the most crucial piece of evidence in this entire case. Okay, this camera can show that, well, I mean, what kind of interaction Mustafa had with Dorothy in that moment. It shows what happened at the time of the accident, whether the music was playing loud, whether they were stable, whether the dash cam wire was not severed, like Chad Mason says. The problem is here.
The most crucial piece of evidence is not there.
I mean, that's the problem. The most crucial piece of evidence that we know was uploaded to evidence.com, according to the affidavit of this DC police officer. He says he got permission from his supervisor to upload this into the case file, and he did so. He didn't say he was attempting. He didn't say he was going to do it next week. He said no. He uploaded the file to evidence.com after getting permission to release this file to Prince William County to put it in Mustafa's file. The big problem here is, where is it?
Now,
where is it?
Now, we have evidence that this body cam has been deleted from evidence.com. I have evidence that they deleted that body cam. And what we're asking for his current defense attorney, Brad Haywood, the first thing you should do, sir, is subpoena that police body cam. Now, Prince William County deleted it. It's not in evidence.com. But we reached out to DC, and they said that they keep those body cams in the metadata
for up to 10 years.
10 years. Now, we're going to get our hand on that body cam. One way or another, we're going to get that body cam.
You know, every time I think about why this entire file was specifically sealed from the public, sealed from Mustafa's family, sealed from Mustafa, sealed from the attorney sometimes, okay? The only thing I could think of is they've tampered with this case so much that you're not allowed to know what should be and shouldn't be in this case file. Okay, I mean, we know there should be door dashing videos from his dash cam. We know there should be audio. We know there should be a body cam from the DC cop, okay, that was first on the scene. According to internal affairs of Prince William County.
How could Mustafa have a fair trial when the prosecutor in court is relying on children that have been weaponized? She screams in court, Mustafa, the children are telling her that Mustafa is a reckless driver. When you have videos of Mustafa door dashing that you're not putting on the record, the police department is in possession of the dash camera. They won't upload exonerating evidence. But once you do, the prosecutor have no leg to stand. How is that due process?
Look,
how is that not illegal?
Look, according to internal affairs, Sean Shelton with Prince William County.
By the way, this is a Brady violation. This is exculpatory evidence that's being hidden, and then they refuse to put them on the record. It's been over 2 goddamn years.
So he tells us that Robert Drum also recorded that conversation, okay? And maybe he did. Maybe it's true. Maybe he did record it. But we know how Robert Drum conducts interviews.
We have a police body cam where his wife that does not work for the police department is on three-way while he's talking to an individual that identify herself as a witness, and she says in the body cam, I mean, this is the disturbing part, I don't know Mustafa, I don't know Dorothy, and she began to tell him, I was not there, but this is what is going on.
And the
this is not a witness.
investigator's wife is on three-way.
This is disturbing.
So,
I mean, did he have his wife on three-way? Was he having conversation? Is that why that body cam does not exist? Oh, he's just going to falsify Mustafa's statements.
Honestly, I think that's what it is. I think Robert Drum had multiple people on this call, and in between Mustafa's answer, he would probably mute, talk to his wife, talk to other people, have a full-blown conversation.
That's what he did on the other body cam.
That's what he does in the other back. I mean, you're telling us this is a double homicide. A double homicide, okay? And you're going to put Robert Drum on this case with his wife on the phone? That's the investigation that you're conducting?
I mean, they're charging Mustafa with premeditated murder. Wouldn't you think that you would have a homicide detective on this case? Instead, according to Internal Affairs, First Sergeant Sean Shelton, and you can listen to the 90-minute conversation. I recorded our interaction. It's on YouTube. He says this investigator is not, he apologizes. And he says this investigator is not, Robert Drum is not qualified to be on this case. As a matter of fact, we usually put him on truck inspection. Why the hell?
DOT inspections.
Why the hell do you not have a homicide detective?
Till this day, they don't have a homicide detective.
I mean, wait a minute. The minute you put a homicide detective on this case, there is no case.
The case is going to fall apart.
Every piece of evidence showed this is a vehicle accident, that Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. I mean, Mohammed, this police officer that was saying that I had interaction with him, Mustafa's in a coma right behind him in front of his vehicle. He says, I had interaction with him. Knowing him is drug related. First of all, where are the police reports? There are no police reports in Mustafa's file that you, Casey Fines, out of Prince William County, interacted with Mustafa. You have a case out of 2018 when Mustafa is suing the police, but you don't have any file that you actually interacted with Mustafa. You're lying to the main investigator about Mustafa. As a matter of fact, Mohammed, if you do me a favor, if you want to go over to exhibits, this is Mustafa's toxicology. No drugs, no alcohol. I mean, when you zoom in here, this is Mustafa. This is Mustafa, toxicology. No alcohol. Blood, alcohol, non-detected.
I mean, where's that blood drawn from? Where's that at? Hospital blood. So how can they tell the children that Mustafa fled the scene? Once again, how can you lie to these kids?
You have him on body cam. I have the body cams where Mustafa was he's in a coma. He gets helicoptered. He's in the hospital.
The
blood,
point,
alcohol,
the point
Muhammad.
of the fact is they took his blood at the hospital and they tested him and they did not release him until those
Muhammad.
results came back negative.
Exactly.
They released him from the hospital.
Exactly. Blood, alcohol. If you look here, blood, alcohol, non-detected. If you zoom in here, THC 0.003. Which means there is no drugs in Mustafa's system. There no alcohol, no drugs. Now 0.003 means it's hemp. And this goes to the foundation of the case, because when you look at the dash camera, Dorothy is passing back and forth a cigarette. That's hemp. Dorothy has cancer, and to relieve the pain, she smokes hemp. Now they're claiming there's an argument inside the vehicle. They seal off the body cam. They don't want anybody to see it. But when you watch the dash camera, you see that Dorothy is passing back and forth a cigarette, hemp, back and forth 8 times. When you watch this, the reason they're not taking Mustafa to trial, because they're terrified that the jury is going to see this dash camera and is going to find out that this investigator is lying about Mustafa. I mean, at one point, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy tells Judge Weimer, can we not put the whole dash camera to the jury? She doesn't even want the jury to see the dash camera.
You know why she did that? That's because she went out and got a lip reader by the name of Bruce Safinsky. Bruce Safinsky took, I think, 3 clips, like maybe 4 or 5 second clips from an entire 30 minutes. He took 5 seconds here, 3 seconds there, and they want to say that, oh, right there, he's arguing with Dorothy. Dorothy says, I want to get out of the car. In this 3 second clip, look at her lips.
So
the lip reader says she's saying, I want to get out of the car. Now, let's be logical here, okay? Let's not look at 3 seconds. Let's look at the entire minute. I'm not going to say let's look at the 30 minutes. Let's look at that entire minute. Number one, they're sitting in traffic, okay? For over 60 seconds, they're sitting in traffic. There's a car in front of him. There's a car behind him. There's a car to the right. There's a car to the left. And they're sitting in traffic. If someone is saying, I want to get out of the car, don't you think, if they felt like their life was in danger, like Bruce Safinsky claims, that Dorothy's life was in danger, she's saying, I want to get out of the car, and it's urgent, and she has to get out of the car. They're sitting in traffic for over a minute. She never reaches for the door handle. She never reaches for the lock. She never reaches for the window. She never reaches for his keys. She doesn't push him off. She's giving him a cigarette.
Do me a favor, go over to exhibits. I'm going to pull the dash camera that Commonwealth Amy Ashworth and prosecutor Sarah Sammy so terrified that they sealed off the dash camera. Unfortunately for them, I have my hand on this dash camera. I'm leaking it on the internet that we get to watch what she's talking about.
I mean, they're literally sitting there filing motions.
I mean,
to block.
are we on exhibits?
To block the dash cam from being seen by the jury. They don't want the dash cam to be seen by. They want to specifically cut that 3-second clip where Bruce Safinsky says, she says, I want to get out of the car, and no more.
Let me
No
get this
more.
straight.
They don't want the jury to see anything prior to that, anything after that.
So let me get this straight. They cut the dash camera. They take 17 frames from Mustafa's facial expression. They mute this dash camera. They'll get you a lip reader, a bullshit lip reader. You give 5 lip readers, they'll tell you 5 different things. We all know that. They'll get you a lip reader, and then when you open the file, you find out that they're in possession of the audio. They had falsified Mustafa's statement that Mustafa never said I was arguing inside the vehicle. And then when you watch the dash camera, you see that Mustafa and Dorothy are passing a cigarette back and forth 8 times.
I mean, what kind of argument is that? Who argues and then...
There is no argument. They're passing a cigarette 8 times.
So politely, so lovingly pass over a cigarette. I mean, when I say lovingly, when he's giving her the cigarette, she's feeling on his hands as she's taking that cigarette.
Look at
what kind of argument
you're
is that?
talking about that right there.
I mean,
Look
what
at
kind
the
of
way-
argument? Is this like 2025 arguing?
Look at the way she grabs that cigarette and she feels his fingers as she's grabbing that cigarette. That's why they're terrified from this dash camera. That's why now the prosecutor is telling Judge Weimer, a corrupt judge that's been ruling against the evidence for the past 2 years. I mean, he sealed off this material. She's telling Judge Carol Weimer, can we seal off the whole entire dash camera except for a portion?
3 seconds.
3 seconds of it. I don't want to show the whole jury, the whole dash camera. Oh, maybe he's going to see that Mustafa and Dorothy are passing a cigarette 8 times. That Mustafa is sitting there washing this car, giving 5-year-old Empress a piece of candy. And I mean, at one point, this is the thing that blows my mind. At one point, 5-year-old Empress is turning on the speaker in the background for Mustafa. Mustafa is sitting there washing Dorothy's 5-year-old Empress's hands. I mean, no wonder the prosecutor doesn't even want the jury to see the dash camera anymore. So she seals it from the community. And now she wants to seal it from the jury? What we're going to do.
Why don't you play the dash cam real quick?
This is the dash camera.
I'm going to leave it on.
What I actually want to do, I want to play the body cam where investigator Robert Drum is. So the Commonwealth attorney seals off the dash camera, and you have the main investigator, who we have evidence that falsified Mustafa's statements, is going around telling everybody the content of this dash camera. And he lies about the content of the dash camera. So you're telling me that he's going around and now people are relying on him giving his own account to what happened inside this dash camera? I mean, this is so disturbing. I mean, when you find out, when you actually get to watch what's in this file, it's disturbing. It goes beyond police misconduct. You simply have a police officer that's falsifying a case. Let's watch that body cam, and then we'll go back to the dash camera.
I mean, not only are they falsifying.
I mean,
not only a police officer is falsifying it. You have a prosecutor who's covering up the lies. You have an internal affairs department who's covering up an officer's lies. This is a group of officers that are conspiring to tamper with evidence, conspiring to tamper with witnesses, and take this case in a route where it shouldn't go. And the fact that you have all that information now, they can't do that anymore.
I mean, here's the problem.
They can't lie about this case anymore.
I mean, this is the problem for Commonwealth Amy Ashworth.
You know too much.
I know too much, and apparently that's a problem.
That's a problem for them.
Now they've got a case in federal court. They want to silence me in federal court. They're coming after me in federal court. There's a case out of Prince William County in Circuit Court. There's a case out of Warren County in Circuit Court. And the whole thing is, we need you to take all this material down. What is so terrifying that you have federal court, Circuit Court in Warren County, Circuit Court in Prince William County, and they're mechanizing the court system to tell me you have to take all of this down. So It must be that terrifying that now I have that no longer you can dismiss the conversation. That when I'm talking about this file, this case, you don't have to take my word for it. I mean, this is so terrifying for Commonwealth Amy Ashworth that I tell you, do not take my word for it. Let's watch the police body cam. I mean, I want to play this police body cam where the main investigator is telling you the content of the dash camera, and then we're going to watch the dash camera. And the question is this investigator falsifying the content of the sealed dash camera? You tell me. Let's watch it together. I think that's a fair approach.
So,
just context to what's going on here in this dash camera, and this is where it gets really disturbing. This is the main investigator, Robert Drum, who falsified Mustafa's statement, is standing with the defense attorney, Casey Stevens, the one that we have evidence has a relationship with the main investigator and stole $55,000 from us. And is describing the dash camera to the defense attorney, and at the time, the defense attorney is not allowed to see it. Mustafa is not allowed to see it. We're not allowed to see it. The community is not allowed to see it. I mean, to this day, this dash camera is sealed. So they sealed it off even to the defense attorney. And now this defense attorney is relying on an investigator who we have evidence, and we're telling this lawyer that this investigator falsified Mustafa's statement. He put on his police report that Mustafa said, I was arguing with Dorothy. There's a recording that Mustafa never said that this defense attorney is in possession of at the time and knows this investigator lied. Now, it's disturbing when you find him on a body cam standing there and is trusting the investigator to give him account of what took place on this dash camera. I mean, we're telling you that he falsified the case. You have evidence that he and you're sitting there trusting what he's telling you, and not just trusting what he's telling. The guy in the middle, the individual in the middle, we paid $5,000, and this is the individual who was supposed to be inspecting the vehicle. The police found the brake failure, that Mustafa's front caliper, passenger caliper, back caliper did not work. Mustafa's foot was on the brake the whole entire time, but two of his calipers did not work. The vehicle would not come to a stop. Now, we hired at the time, and this is on a police body cam, by the way. I have a police body cam where they inspected Mustafa's vehicle, and they found brake failure. So, in this body cam, on this day, and this is, what day is this? July 18, 2023. We paid $5,000, and the individual in the middle is the individual that's supposed to inspect Mustafa's vehicle.
The independent expert.
The independent expert. Now, Mohammed, the defense attorney, who now we know has a relationship with this investigator, we have clear evidence, is standing there asking him to give him the content of the dash camera in front of this independent expert. If I didn't know any better, when I'm watching this, they're brainwashing this expert and telling him, hey, he's guilty. He's a fucked up person. He did this on purpose. I saw the dash camera, the main investigator, and he did this on purpose. And then when you watch the dash camera, he lied about the content in front of the independent expert, as if to tell this independent expert, this guy killed his family. He did it on purpose. You don't have to inspect his vehicle anymore. You're wasting your time. I'm the police. I saw the dash camera.
Exactly.
In what world your defense attorney allows this conversation to go on when you specifically know that this investigator falsified Mustafa's statements? And that's when you find out that they've been in cahoots since the beginning.
It's a complete inappropriate conversation. I mean, the whole reason you're hiring an independent expert is because you don't want the bias of the police. You don't want the bias of the county to be on that report. So for your independent expert that you paid for is there to examine this car, and you have Robert Drum, who's sitting at every angle, at every agency, sitting there telling them misinformation, lies, just like he did with the medical examiner, the autopsy. I mean, it was ruled a homicide based on investigator Drum's analysis or his vision of what he saw in that dash camera, which is a complete lie.
So let's watch.
I mean, we know Judge Carol Weimer, when he looked at the evidence,
he gave him a bond. He gave him a $5,000 bond.
His exact quotes to Prosecutor Sammy was, give that man his bond. Give that man his bond.
And then she stands in court and she says,
Amar, as if she's the judge. He's the judge. You're the judge. You're Judge Weimer.
What does she
It's
have
your
on
courtroom.
What does she have on Judge Carol Weimer that she gets to stand in court and tell him Judge Weimer, the Commonwealth attorney will not be happy with you, and then 7 days later she brings him some bullshit reason to revoke the bond, and when the
and it has nothing to do with the case.
when you open
It
the
has
file,
nothing to do with
they've
the case.
lied about the content why they revoked the bond. I mean, there's evidence where they lied.
I mean,
It's sealed. No one's supposed to look at it.
look,
That's okay.
There's a trend. There's a trend with Mustafa's bond denial. There's a trend.
Yeah.
It never seems to have anything to do with this case at all. Never. In August of 2023, Prosecutor Sammy stood before a judge on the record and said, Your Honor, Mustafa gave an individual brain injury in the past, and he did it intentionally. That's why he should not be released, because he's a danger to society.
the judge-
This is what Mustafa does. He gives people brain injury by crashing his car into oncoming traffic. That's what she told the judge. And the judge denied bond because of that. Now, she never brought this excuse up again.
You're talking about Jason Nance.
She said Jason. Well, she didn't say Jason Nance. She refused to give the name, so you can't even investigate. Who the hell is she talking about?
I have the file, and it's Jason Nance.
I mean, yeah, now you do after you got the discovery. But
Yeah.
initially, you don't know. She just says, Your Honor, he gave an individual brain injury after crashing his car on purpose.
I mean, the judge at the time.
And the judge ate it up. He said, no bond for you. Okay, the next time around, Mustafa had a bond hearing. The prosecutor, after the judge said, give the man his bond, and he granted a $5,000 bond after looking at all the evidence in the case, the judge said, this guy's not a danger to society.
Look, here's the theme for this case. They sealed off the file. The evidence that's supposed to be exculpatory evidence, which is illegal to withhold exculpatory evidence. That's a Brady violation. It's not on their record, so the prosecutor can say whatever she wants to a judge. And here we are, over 2 years, Mustafa sits in solitary confinement in a county jail where they refuse to take him to trial. They're in trouble now because I have the file and I'm leaking it on the internet.
And
Let's
I mean,
watch.
not only that, but you're missing the most crucial pieces of evidence in this
Well,
case.
it's missing. I don't have it because it's not in evidence.com. They kept it
They
out from
deleted
the
it. They deleted the file. Okay, it's clear.
We're gonna get to the bottom of
deleting
it.
evidence, and whoever is doing it, by the way, I'll tell you. I mean, you know your system, evidence.com. If you go in, it's going to say this person went in. When you delete that information, it's going to show who deleted that information. Okay, and I wonder. I mean, I have a hunch. Assistant Chief of Police Kevin Hugard.
Oh, that's right. He was there on.
He just resigned recently.
I have a body cam where he was on site.
Think about it like
watching his officer falsify this case.
Once these files hit the internet, Kevin Hugard ran away. Why? Why would he run away? Is it because you have an Andrew Margiotta's affidavit saying he had a body cam that should have been in evidence.com and it's not there? Someone deleted it? By the way, who would have access to internal affair files like evidence.com? Internal Affairs. Kevin Hugard on his resume says he worked with Internal Affairs.
We'll get to the bottom of it. Mohammed, if you want to do me a favor, what is that notification that just popped up? Are we good?
Let me see.
We're still broadcasting, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to play this body cam and watch the main investigator talk to Casey Stevens, the defense attorney at the time, with the expert in the middle, and a prosecutor is standing right there. That's Kenny. That's one of the prosecutors. I wanted to say that skinny piece of shit. I stopped myself and then I was like, what the hell?
Christian Maloff, I think his name is. Christian
Meloff. This case has 3 prosecutors. You know they're in trouble and they know they're fucked when you put 3 prosecutors on a case. Because when things come out, they want to deflect and say...
3 prosecutors and they still fucked it up.
And they whenever you have a case that has multiple prosecutors, that they know is going to come out at one point, and if it does blow back, they want to say, "Well, I wasn't there. It was him." They want to play this back and forth, pointing fingers at each other.
And you saw the damage, right?
So they're having a disagreement, apparently.
Obviously.
You can tell there's tension in the car, but there's.
What did you just say?
You can tell there's tension in the car. Like the defense attorney is asking him he hasn't seen it. Supposedly,
So Robert Drum can feel tension through that dash cam.
There's tension in the car. He's so emotional. Listen.
So emotional.
70, 80 video, free.
Why not show him the dash camera? How is he supposed to reconstruct this vehicle accident? Why are you hiding the dash camera from his defense attorney? Why is this defense attorney allowing this conversation to go on in front of an independent expert that's supposed to be reconstructing? Oh yeah, he's a piece of shit. He did it on purpose.
Look,
and we're just gonna take your word for it.
Look, I'll say this. Once you're done playing that,
Yeah.
people can rewind. Okay, listen to Robert Drum describe this dash camera. Close your eyes. Listen to how he describes it, okay? And then go look at the dash camera. And see if you can tell a difference, okay? This is night and day, okay? The way he's describing it, you have to look at...
Wasn't he talking about Mustafa and Dorothy passing a cigarette back and forth 8 times? How could you have an argument if you're literally passing a cigarette back and forth 8 times and she feels Mustafa's finger... and love.
There's so many details.
This gives you insight in how much she cares about Mustafa. She feels his fingers as she's grabbing that cigarette.
There's so many details.
Are you fucking kidding me?
To this 30-minute dash camera that if you look at it and you observe everything in his dash cam, you would laugh at Robert Drum when he's describing it. You would laugh at him.
He's falsifying the content
fill up
of the
gas,
dash camera.
to wash your car, to spray perfume on your passenger seat before they get there. It's unbelievable that they've been getting away with this for 2 years and the media just covers up for them. They put out the 3-second clip of Bruce Stefanski. That's the part that they wanted to play to the jury. They don't want to play anything else. All this stuff that you're putting out there, that's extra. This is what takes their case and breaks it apart. When you play the context of what's going on, their entire narrative falls apart. And the media is complicit.
Of course,
the media is complicit.
They're covering up. Why is it that the media would run with a story from the police department and the file is on the internet that will show you that the police lied and falsified, and the media is not fixing the story?
Think about it like this. Prior to April of 2024, there has been no dash cam of this case. No mention of a dash camera in Mustafa's case. Prior to April 2024, there has been no mention of Mustafa having a dash camera in this case. Back in September of 2023, you sat down with Julie Carey for 3 hours and you showed her the full dash camera. By the way, at the time, September 2023, nobody knew there was a dash camera other than us, the prosecutor, and the police. The community did not know about it. When they reported on the story, they did not report that there was a dash camera. But you showed it to Julie Carey in September of 2023. You showed her the full dash camera. But yet, months later, in April of 2024, during the bond hearing, Julie Carey is acting surprised that there's a dash cam footage, that the prosecutor released 3-second clip of this dash cam.
They chopped up the dash camera. They took the dash camera out of context.
And
they would put 2 seconds in the middle, 1 second at the end, piece it together. They took the dash camera out of context.
She says, never seen before.
Yep.
Never seen before footage of the dash. You showed it to her in September of 2023.
I have proof that I sat down with Julie Carey, that Julie Carey is aware there's a dash camera.
You have a recording of your meeting with Julie Carey.
Exactly.
You have a recording of your meeting with Julie Carey.
Now, here's the problem. This community is watching Julie Carey and is going to be asking, what happened to your credibility? I have evidence that you were aware there's a dash camera, that you watched this dash camera, and you come out to the news and say, what did she say? Never seen dash camera? Lady, you're lying to the police. You're lying to the community.
Exclusive at NBC.
We'll get to the bottom of Julie Carey and what's going on with Julie Carey.
My question to Julie Carey is, how many times have you covered up for this prosecutor, for this county, for this police department? How many times have you covered up and made up lies just for an officer to get away with lies? How many times have you let an innocent person rot in jail, simply to have a wonderful relationship with your police officers. Julie Carey, that's my question to you. How many years have you been lying for? Okay, and how far are you willing to go?
We'll get to the bottom of it. I mean, this community is actively watching files being leaked on the internet, and the credibility of Julie Carey is being tarnished all over the community. She's simply covering up for police misconduct. I mean, is she reporting? Is she updating her story on Mustafa Al-Jazari? Not yet. We haven't seen her come out and talk about everything that's being leaked on the internet. Is she updating her story on Tatiana David, the other file that we're leaking on the internet? Not yet. Where is our media from telling us what goes on in our community? I mean, if the media is not holding those officials accountable, who will? I mean, why do I have to sit here and leak out this information? Shouldn't you be able to just reach out to Commonwealth Amy Ashworth? I mean, shame on Amy Ashworth, Commonwealth Attorney Amy Ashworth, that when you have this level of police misconduct and falsification, that you go to a judge, Judge Carol Weimer, and the other judges that you have on your payroll, and you simply seal off police body cam. Shame on you for covering up police misconduct. I mean, and the conversation is disturbing because you can no longer dismiss this conversation when I literally have the police body cams of police misconduct.
I mean, why is it that Julie Carey and other media outlets, why have they not corrected the statements made by the brother? You've released the dash camera, the entire dash camera, the full dash camera, from the moment the car was at the apartment complex all the way to the accident. Why is it that no media outlet is willing to cover this dash camera? I mean, they put out the 3-second narrative that Bruce Safinsky allegedly read the lips of Dorothy saying, "I want to get out of the car." But they're not going to talk about the full dash camera that came out that shows there's no argument.
Are we talking about the same Bruce Safinsky that when you watch the dash camera, it shows that Dorothy is not reaching for the door handle, is giving Mustafa a cigarette back and forth 8 times, is actually giving Mustafa directions? It's her mom's anniversary, and she's asking Mustafa to take her. I mean, you want to sit there and say that he's a reckless driver? Mustafa's girlfriend is the one that asked Mustafa to take her to her mom's anniversary. She trusted Mustafa enough with his driving that she put her 5-year-old child in Mustafa's car. I mean, this is what the dash cameras show. And then when you watch, we'll get to it. The more you watch, the more disturbing this case gets. Okay, let's continue watching this body cam.
But she gets upset. He's lecturing her or talking to her. She gets upset. And then he's straight-faced.
She gets upset. He's straight-faced. That's his description of the dash camera. Now, when you watch the dash camera before it cuts off, now specifically he's talking about Mustafa's facial expression, right? Why is it that I have a dash camera? Because this dash camera sees the outside and sees the inside. And we'll go over exactly what I'm talking about. There are 17 frames missing from Mustafa's facial expression. And you have a situation where the investigator is talking about Mustafa's facial expression, has falsified Mustafa's statement inside the vehicle, and cut off the audio that we know exists according to them. There's a file that says Officer Zymus is in possession of the audio. I mean, and then when you watch the dash camera, you actually see Mustafa's facial expression is panicking. He's flat out lying about the content of the dash camera. Mustafa's tongue, he's sticking out his tongue in panic inside his cheek. His jaw is wide open. And then all of a sudden, mysteriously, the dash camera cuts off before the outside cuts off. And there are 17 frames missing from Mustafa's facial expression. And this investigator is homing in. Robert Drum, sir, we know you cut this dash camera. We have evidence that you cut and muted this dash camera. And we're going to get to the bottom of it, sir.
Sudden, first steering wheel left hand.
2, he says Mustafa jerked the vehicle into oncoming traffic. That is not true. The lane ends. Mustafa ends up in oncoming traffic because there is a brake failure According to the police that inspected Mustafa's vehicle, they found brake failure. I have a body cam. Now, when you want to tell and say that Mustafa jerked the vehicle into oncoming traffic, did you ever fathom or comprehend that one day we're going to sit here with that body cam stolen from your Commonwealth Amy Ashworth and we're going to play it out to the community? I mean, you don't have to take my word for it. This investigator says Mustafa jerked the vehicle into oncoming traffic.
Not in a million years. They never thought it would happen. I mean, they were given the promise.
They never expected it to get this far.
Exactly.
That you're going to play with this. I mean, this is a body cam that's sealed by Commonwealth Amy Ashworth that we get to play today, and we're going to play the dash camera.
You see the front of the car too, who's driving, and you see the inside of all the occupants and the little girl in the back. You can tell the seatbelt's behind her, and that big speaker, the black one, is sitting right here, above her head. He's driving along straight face. They had an argument or discussion, he goes like this, into the left-hand lane, doesn't hop a curb, just goes straight through the intersection, in the oncoming traffic, doesn't change his face. She starts screaming and yelling. She's up on the car, screaming, "No, Moses, no."
She starts screaming, "No, Moses."
I thought there is no audio. How do you hear "No, Moses, no"?
Exactly. Where do you get
Either
that from?
there is an audio or there is no audio. No, Moses, no. And then he begins to describe the content of the conversation. I mean, this is where it gets really disturbing.
And then the second before they hit that car, it cuts out. So the camera itself rotates every 60 seconds. And before the power cuts off, it's almost like an ATM. It'll lock in. It's designed to do it. It'll lock in the event, so it's stored. Now, I did find out that the camera does have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, so it's possible that it went to a cloud.
Listen to what he's talking about here. He's not concerned about anything except, does this dash camera uploaded into the cloud, is it possible that the family might be in possession of this dash camera?
And
where can I cut this dash camera? Can I mute it and cut it and get away with it? Is the family in possession of this dash camera? As a matter of fact, when he reaches out to Rexon, that's his only
question.
He doesn't ask about the audio.
That's his only concern.
Because they're in possession of the audio.
He's asking, did this footage go to a cloud or go to Bluetooth somewhere? Is this stored anywhere else other than here where I have it? And if you remember correctly,
17 frames are missing from Mustafa's facial expression on the inside.
If you remember correctly, that same quote right there where he says maybe it went to a cloud, maybe it went through Wi-Fi, Casey Stevens was pressing us on that. He was pressing really hard on that question.
The defense attorney is standing right there.
After that date.
Do you have it? Do you have access to it?
Is it possible that this footage went anywhere else other than where the police department have it? That's his question. It's recorded. Is it possible that this footage went anywhere else that
they're covering their
that
tracks.
you could gain access to?
He wants to know, what can I get away with? Okay.
He had an SD card in there as well that we ended up sending off to digital forensics. They took all the stuff off on. But yeah, it's a hard one for me. So, like I said, we're still a little girl face. You can see. But yeah, this is a hard one for me. So.
This is horrible for him. It's about him. It's not about a guy that just lost his family. It's not about a guy that was in a coma flown to the helicopter, to the hospital. It's about him. It's horrible for him.
It's hard for him. He said it's hard.
We're still a little girl's face. You can see between the headrest and mom. She has no idea what's going on.
Is he putting on a show for the expert? I mean, if I'm watching this, I mean,
that's the definition of an accident. Obviously, you're not going to know it's an accident.
Wait a minute. I mean, why is this defense attorney allowing this conversation to continue in front of who's supposed to be an independent? I mean, after this conversation, to this day, the independent expert did not write a report. Did they tell you that, hey, this is an open and shut case, he did it on purpose? Don't worry about inspecting the vehicle.
Pretty much, that's what it sounds like. It looks like he was convinced by Robert Drum's narrative that, by the way, he didn't even go to the evidence department to obtain the official data recorder from the vehicle. He's supposed to go to the vehicle or to the evidence department and plug in that computer to his laptop.
I mean,
to download the
Mohammed,
information.
put yourself in this independent expert's shoes. The defense attorney and the police officer are telling you that this individual is a piece of shit that did it on purpose.
Yeah, I mean,
Would you
exactly.
inspect the
I would
vehicle?
abandon it.
And the real question is, in what world does a defense attorney allow the conversation to continue knowing that this investigator had
Lied.
falsified and lied about Mustafa?
lied.
He had evidence. At the time, we have many conversation with this investigator that, hey, Casey Stevens, sir,
with this lawyer, you mean?
with this lawyer, that this investigator lied. I have evidence. I have a recording that he falsified Mustafa's statements.
He listened to the recording. He listened to the recording from day one.
And he allows this conversation, and he takes the narrative of the investigator that lied, trusting him what is actually going on this dash camera.
You know,
this is complete bullshit.
You know what I think? I want to say it almost looks like Casey Stevens and Robert Drum had pre-planned this conversation to take place in front of that expert. I wouldn't be surprised if Casey Stevens and Robert Drum had pre-planned for this conversation to take place.
Let me ask you a real question here.
To discourage him from doing his job.
Let me go on a tangent here and ask you a real question. Now, for the past 2 years, Casey Stevens, every time I get on a podcast, every time I go online, I tarnish the reputation of Casey Stevens. I talk about what he's done. This is my evidence. This is what he did. He has a relationship with Robert Drum. He did this. Why has he not sued me for defamation? Do you know why? Because once you sue me for defamation, I'm going to subpoena your cell phone and your emails. And in those communication, you're going to find communication with this investigator, how they collaborated over Mustafa.
And with the prosecutor.
Exactly. We're going to watch other body cams where this investigator is collaborating with over Mustafa and how to just simply lie and continue to allow this investigator to falsify Mustafa's case.
I mean,
in one body cam, I mean, it's so disturbing. In one body cam, he's talking about how he's going to, after they beat Mustafa inside the jail, how he's going to bring a psychiatrist to write Mustafa off as incompetent so he can't testify in court over his falsified police report. And we'll play these body cams.
After they beat him.
After they beat him inside the jail. Your defense attorney is working with the investigator who falsified the police report on how to not be able to testify.
To make you look incompetent.
There you go.
That's the whole thing.
Screaming at him. He's just nothing. But he puts his tongue in his cheek.
He puts his tongue in his cheek.
Like he's preparing for something. I don't know. I mean, his mannerisms of who he is. And who he is all I know when I'm talking to him. But yeah, it's...
Yeah, there's pretty fucked up.
The ACM, the driving, everything is consistent. I played the videotape and I went, that's verbatim. The steering input, you can tell like body gestures and braking and acceleration, what speed. And there's witnesses that were...
He wasn't speeding.
He wasn't speeding. And then when you look at the data from the ECM inside the vehicle, you find that Mustafa's foot was on the brake the whole entire time.
Behind him it says he's driving normal, and all of a sudden left-hand lane into the oncoming drive.
He doesn't tell him that he had brake failure.
He just said he's driving normal, and then all of a sudden he ends up into oncoming lane. I thought you just said he was arguing. Now you're saying he's driving normal?
And he doesn't tell him.
Which one is it?
Which one is it? And he doesn't even talk about the brake failure?
I mean, the one thing I can't get over it is when he says, Dorothy said, no, Moses, no. How do you know that? How do you know that? You're not a lip reader. You didn't get. You didn't go out and get a lip reader. According to Zymus, you have audio of these files. According to Casey Stevens. He told him
said, "Yep,
that he has the audio.
He has the audio. We'll play that conversation.
The the
This is what is going to get disturbing. He's going to start describing the content of the conversation inside the car, and he says Mustafa and Dorothy were talking about court.
exterior dash cam video. Does it show what he's looking at?
You're asking the investigator that falsified the police report in front of the independent expert? You're
Like,
putting on a show.
He's giving him credibility.
Exactly.
That's what he's doing.
It shows everything seconds prior to the actual collision. And that's all. So there's, I would say there's a good hour of them at an apartment complex, DoorDash, going
Door dashing.
to 7-Eleven, and then them arguing about something in the car. I don't know if you read our reports.
Them arguing about
Them
something
arguing
in the car.
about something in the court,
Related to
or
court.
related to court. So when the Commonwealth Attorney comes out on NBC4 and says this dash camera
Has
does
no
not
audio.
have audio, ma'am, unfortunately for you, I have the file, the document that Officer Zyman says we have the audio.
And you have
And you're
Robert
in-
Drum himself in
Talking
the
about-
flash talking about
That is crazy.
there's audio.
Now-
Multiple times he said it. I mean, he's given multiple indications. He's given multiple indications that he knows there's audio. What does this investigator know that the prosecutor doesn't know?
Now, let me really quick. I want to play the last 8 seconds in Mustafa's file before the dash camera cuts off. When you open evidence.com, you have a dash camera that starts off from 1 o'clock all the way to before the accident. I mean, where is the rest of the dash camera? In what world does a dash camera just cuts off? Now, specifically, this dash camera records in 1 minute increments, and that's how it's saved in evidence.com. Now, specifically, when you look at the last 8 seconds, this is, let me pull up the dash camera. And Mohammed, if you want to do me a favor, if you want to go over to exhibits. There we go. Now, you heard Robert Drum talk about Mustafa's facial expression. And he says specifically, Mustafa's tongue is sticking inside his cheek. Okay? And he's specifically talking about Mustafa's facial expression. Now, isn't it suspicious that when you watch this dash camera, the prosecutor inside the court is focusing on Mustafa's facial expression? Julie Carey with NBC4 is talking about Mustafa's facial expression. The investigator is talking about Mustafa's facial expression. And his own dash camera, there are 17 frames missing from Mustafa's facial expression. And you want to tell me that this police department did not cut this dash camera? What am I talking about? In Mustafa's file, in evidence.com, the dash camera is recorded in 1 minute increments. And then you get to a file where it has 8.3 seconds. The camera facing outward, the camera sees the outside, and this dash camera has a lens where it shows you the inside. Now, when you measure the frames, the camera on the inside cuts off at 8.0, but the camera facing outward continue rolling up to 8.3. That's 17 frames that are missing from Mustafa's facial expression. And they want to talk about Mustafa's facial expression? There is no way. By the way, this dash camera does not fall on two different frames. This dash camera, the lens that's facing outward and the lens that's facing inward, is connected to the same computer inside.
The same hardware.
The same hardware. So if we were to go by the narrative of the police department that mysteriously this dash camera just cut off, it would
cut
fall
off on both lenses.
It would fall on
if
both.
the camera shut off,
Exactly.
the whole thing was shut off. But for it to shut off on the inside first and continue rolling on the outside,
That would mean someone manually cut this dash camera. Let's watch what I'm talking about. Mohammed, if you can do me a favor, if you want to go over to exhibits. Now, this is frame by frame. This is a file in evidence.com. It's supposed to be 8.3. But when you play the file, I'm going to play it once, normal. And this shows...
let's set up like this.
Yeah, that's fine. It's going to show that Mustafa is attempting to pass a vehicle in front of him. He takes a lane. Here, realize that this is a U-turn lane. He can't get back into traffic. He hits the brake. His brake failed. There's brake failure. I have another body cam where they inspect Mustafa's vehicle, and there's brake failure. There are skid marks right there from Mustafa's 2 calipers that worked. The front passenger, the back passenger did not work. There's brake failure. The only 2 calipers that worked is the front driver, the back driver. There are skid marks taken by Robert Drum and Chad Mason off Mustafa's skid mark before the vehicle ended up on the other side. Now here, you see Mustafa brake. 5-year-old Empress shifts forward. Okay? The computer inside the vehicle showed that Mustafa's foot was on the brake the whole entire time. I'm going to rewind it just a little bit. You see that 5-year-old Empress shift forward. You see right there? How she shifts forward. Everybody shifts forward. Mustafa is hitting the brake. There's brake failure. The vehicle would not stop. Mustafa managed to get the vehicle from 55, which is speed limit, to 35. There's nowhere to go. I'm going to rewind it just a little bit. He's trying to pass the car in front of him. He takes a lane. Realize right there, this is a U-turn. He tried to get back into traffic. That vehicle right there is blocking him from getting back into traffic. Your brake failed. There's brake failure.
According to the police, by the way.
According to the police. Now, where are you supposed to go? Now, this investigator, Robert Drum, tells us that Mustafa jerked the vehicle into oncoming traffic. Now, watch Mustafa's hands. Watch Mustafa's steering wheel. He ends up in oncoming traffic. He didn't jerk the vehicle into oncoming traffic. The vehicle ends up in oncoming traffic.
I'm going to make a full screen.
Yeah.
Go on.
Mustafa gets here, and I'm going to slow it down. He doesn't jerk the vehicle into oncoming traffic.
You see Empress's seat shift forward prior to the
vehicle
intersection.
is already, once the lane ends, you're already in oncoming traffic. He doesn't jerk the vehicle into oncoming traffic. The lane ends, and there is nowhere to go. There's a vehicle on your right. You can't get back into traffic. You have brake failure. You can't get this vehicle to stop. You end up in oncoming traffic. Now, at that point, there are skid marks from the 2 calipers that worked.
From his car.
From his car. He already hit the brake. His foot is on the brake the whole entire time.
And the witnesses heard his skid brakes right there.
Now, when you end up in oncoming traffic, when you're in that situation, what did Mustafa do? Now, there's vehicles that are oncoming. Mustafa avoids the first vehicle.
That white van.
If he wanted to crash the vehicle on purpose, he would have crashed into that van. Simple.
Exactly.
If he wanted to kill his family, he would have crushed into...
He would have just turned into that
he would have
vehicle
just,
to the right.
He would have just cut into the right and crushed them into that vehicle that's on his right. But he can't get back into traffic. He hits the brake. He can't stop the vehicle. There are skid marks from the 2 calipers that worked. He did not jerk the vehicle into oncoming traffic like Robert Drum says. And he's already in oncoming traffic. The lane end. Where are you supposed to go? There is nowhere to go. Now, when you end up in that position, what did Mustafa do? He avoids the first vehicle. He avoids the second vehicle. He avoids every vehicle. And the camera cuts off. Now, let's continue rolling. The camera on the outside continue rolling. The camera inside cuts off at 8.0.
And by the way, you can see that.
By the way.
I'm going to make it bigger.
Yeah.
No one is touching the camera. You see Mustafa's hand. You see his arm. You see Dorothy's both arms. So none of them are touching this camera.
You clearly see Mustafa's hands. You see Dorothy's hands. The airbag did not deploy, so you can't blame it on the airbag. Who cut this dash camera before impact? This dash camera cuts off.
Why is it still recording on the outside and not the inside?
Now, Mohammed, it stops at 8.0, and this investigator wants to talk about Mustafa's facial expression. They took, when you measure how many frames they took out of Mustafa's facial expression, they took 17 frames are missing from Mustafa's facial expression. And even though there are 17 frames are missing, when you watch Mustafa's reaction, he's in panic. His tongue is sticking out of his cheek. I mean, look at his, can you see, is it zoomed in?
Oh, let me make it bigger.
You can make it bigger.
I think you have to zoom in.
I have to zoom in. Okay. I think I can zoom in manually. There we go. Am I in?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, this is Mustafa. Okay. We're going to watch it regular speed. Okay? Right here, you see Mustafa's tongue. He sticks out his tongue in his cheek. In panic. His jaw is wide open.
Yeah.
He's panicking. And mysteriously, the dash camera cuts off. Let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit more.
I mean, can you have it both cameras at the same time and just zoom into the right side?
I think so, yeah.
Let's take a break.
All right. After this, we're going to take a break. All right, there we go. Perfect. Okay. All right, so we're going to zoom in on Mustafa's facial expression. Okay. We're going to play at regular speed. This is Mustafa's facial expression. Okay.
Can you zoom in the top and the bottom, like, so you can see both?
What do you mean?
Like, oh. Does that include the bottom part too?
Yeah, but if you zoom in, almost is going to...
Yeah,
what do you mean?
like that.
Oh, you want to do it like
Yeah,
this?
I want to see the bottom too. What's
Okay,
happening?
okay. All right, and then we'll zoom in on Mustafa's facial expression. All right. Like this?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so he's trying to pass the car in front of him. He realizes he's in the U-turn lane. He hits the brake. There's no brake, and he can't get back into traffic. Okay. I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. Right there. He begins to open his mouth. You see right there? Okay. Now, I'm going to zoom in really quick, really close. All right, that's Mustafa's facial expression, right? Okay. Now, the last 8.3 seconds at 6.6, Mustafa began to open his mouth. His jaw is open. Okay. And then his jaw is open more. Okay. And then
you see
he sticks out his tongue inside his cheek.
You see his body like
Tense
jerk
up.
back.
Yep. Now, is
Play-
that the
play it again?
description? Yeah. Slow?
Yeah. Okay, go forward.
So at 6.6.
No, yeah, just keep going. Keep going. You see right there? You see his neck muscle?
Yep.
Like all tense up? And Robert Drum says
I mean,
he
he's
had no
reacting to an accident. He's panicking. I mean, and where it gets really disturbing, Mohammed, where it gets really disturbing is there are 17 frames missing from the camera facing inward.
Facing
and
Mustafa.
the prosecution wants to talk about Mustafa's facial expression. You manually cut this dash camera.
I mean, think about it like
I mean,
this.
you don't have to take my word for it.
Listen, what are the odds? The dash camera cut right before his facial expressions. Like, what are the odds?
I mean,
Like, it just seems like, it just seems like every single piece of evidence in this case, when it's extremely getting close to the point, it just miraculously disappears. Like that DC officer's body cam. I mean, that's the most crucial point in this whole entire case.
I mean,
missing.
Mohammed.
Robert Drum's recording, missing. Okay? I mean, this dash camera is the most crucial piece of evidence. The audio, missing. The dash cam, it just cuts off. Why is everything surrounding this accident such a mystery?
I mean, Mohammed.
Such a mystery.
If you go...
For no reason at all, by the way.
If you count the frame, this dash camera cuts off at 8.0 and the outside continue rolling. And you want to tell me they have it? I mean, here, I'm going to go second by second.
Look, if the camera cuts off, it cut off. You know what I mean? If the power went out, the power went out.
I mean,
but to say,
are we on exhibits?
Yeah.
I mean, here's the exhibits.
But to say the power went out on the outside or the inside.
1 second,
like
2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7 seconds. 8 seconds. It stops. The lens facing inward cuts off, but the outside continue rolling 17 more frames. Are you kidding me here? And the prosecution wants to talk about Mustafa's facial expression. How convenient that you have a police officer that mutes the dash camera, that cuts 17 frames out of the dash camera,
Plugs into his laptop.
plugs it into his
Doesn't
laptop.
follow protocol when it comes to digital evidence.
Look, man, this is bullshit.
Doesn't follow.
But we're
policy
gonna
and
get to the
procedure.
bottom of it. Let's take a break. I need to fucking smoke a cigarette. I can't take this shit. Like every time when I'm homing in on the details, it really pisses the fuck out of me. This is bullshit. I mean, when I sit here and I'm showing you the evidence, you don't have to take my word for it anymore. I mean, we're sitting right here in front of a jail. Right behind me, Mustafa sits in solitary confinement for over 2 years. This is exculpatory evidence. They're sealing off this material. They're terrified now it's being leaked. They're terrified to take him to trial. I mean, what are we doing here? We're sitting here telling them, can we take Mustafa to trial? Can Mustafa have his due process?
Can he examine the evidence? That's all he's asking.
Can you put the evidence on the record?
Can you examine the evidence?
This is
that's all. That's all you're asking.
This is bullshit.
I mean, what are you asking?
Let's take a break.
We're not asking for miracles or.
Let's take a break.
You're not asking for special treatment. You're
When
not
we
asking
come
for
back-
anything special.
When we come
You're
back,
asking for him to examine his evidence, which is his due process, his right.
when we come back, we're going to have the mother of Mustafa Al-Jazari, and we're going to talk to her. We're going to hear from the mother of Mustafa Al-Jazari that this community is avoiding. So they falsify her son's police reports, and they won't even talk to her. And then when she comes out, they'll trespass her from the courthouse. We're going to play a body cam when she was in the hospital. Well, Mustafa was helicoptered. And what Chad Mason, what kind of conversation? And why was that mother being threatened with an arrest if she asked about her son, Mustafa Al-Jazari? Chad Mason, we have a body cam where he's threatening her that he's going to drag her off the property
And trespass her.
and trespass her. When she's
If
simply
she asks about
asking...
Mustafa one more time,
She asked about Mustafa one more time.
don't ask about your
So
son.
she gets a phone call that Mustafa's in a coma. When she shows up, you have a police
They
officer.
called saying he was
he
helicoptered.
saw her in a scarf. Oh, this Muslim mother, her son doesn't deserve to be alive. He tells her, you're lucky that your son is alive, that your son is a piece of shit,
So
that he's
you're
alive.
lucky he's doing better than some other ones.
And if you ask for him one more time, you're gonna talk to the mother like that? That you're gonna drag her off the property?
By the way,
and-
this is, I'll say this.
I'll tell you, this is
this is prior to looking at the dash cam, prior to talking to the kids, prior to having this false narrative that they have right now, prior to anything, before they even scanned the scene.
Oh, that's right. Mustafa was suing the police.
I mean, prior to anything.
Mustafa was suing the police.
Exactly.
and-
That's all they knew at the time, is that this man is the one that's suing the police.
That when he gets in a vehicle accident and loses his family, he's in a coma, and you're going to take advantage of the situation.
Yeah,
and when the mother shows up, you're going to threaten him with arrest. Oh, that mother is a piece of shit. She's an Arab Muslim mother. She doesn't know any better. So when you're going to show up with your badge and uniform, you're going to intimidate her into shutting the fuck up. When we come back, we're going to have the mother of Mustafa Al-Jazari, and we're going to play that body cam just so this community, to see what really is going on behind closed doors. Mohammed, if you do me a favor, if you play exhibits, we're going to have... going to play this body cam. This is Mustafa's legal fund. It's simply a Cash App. Mustafa's phone and commissary is expensive. Every 3 days, we have to put $50 in Mustafa's phone. Keep Mustafa in your prayers. And if you can afford to donate into Mustafa's legal fund, it's a Cash App. It is simply Mustafa's legal fund. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have more conversations.
Angels in a cell, no trial, no voice. Truth buried deep, but we ain't got no choice. They tried to erase them, break them apart, but we scream free Mustafa. From the soul, from the heart. They falsified the paper, twisted every word, turned a car crash to murder, like justice never heard. Dorothy and Empress, angels in the sky. Now they blame a broken man while the real ones lie. A badge and a pen, that's all it took. Signed his fate with a false report and a dirty look.
Wherever the fuck is on the other side, where the fuck that guy goes, follow him to the hotel.
And again, scream Mustafa, loud through the chains. Justice corrupted, drowning in pain. From the cell block to the street, we'll never stop till the walls fall down and the charges drop. Free Mustafa, it's more than a name, it's a movement, a mission, exposing the game to Trump and Cash. Hear our cry, bring the truth to light, let the innocent fly. Amy Ashworth, playing judge and the jury in a county so dirty, soaked in fury. Police and the courts all in on the plot. They framed an innocent man and left his soul to rot, but his family's out marching, banners held high, while supporters flood timelines, refusing to lie. They want silence, we give them the storm. Truth blazing through like justice reborn. Every post, every chant, every sleepless night is a spark in the dark that's ready to ignite. This ain't just a song, it's a battle cry for every soul locked up while the guilty lie. We free Mustafa, loud through the chains. Justice corrupted, drowning in pain. From the cell block to the street, we'll never stop till the walls fall down and the charges drop. Free Mustafa, it's more than a name, it's a movement, a mission, exposing the game to Trump and Cash. Hear our cry, bring the truth to light, let the innocent fly. 2 years too long, time to rise above. Truth is power when fueled by love. So we'll march, we'll fight, we'll never let go until Mustafa walks free and the whole world knows. years in a cell, no trial, no voice. Truth buried deep, but we ain't got no choice. They tried to erase him, break him apart, but we scream free Mustafa. From the soul, from the heart. They falsified the paper, twisted every word, turned a car crash to murder, like justice never heard. Dorothy and Empress, angels in the sky. Now they blame a broken man while the real ones lie. A badge and a pen, that's all it took. Signed his fate with a false report and a dirty look.
Wherever the fuck is on the other side, where the fuck that guy goes, follow him and get down.
And again, scream Mustafa, loud through the chains. Justice corrupted, drowning in pain. From the cell block to the street, we'll never stop till the walls fall down and the charges drop. Free Mustafa, it's more than a name, it's a movement, a mission, exposing the game to Trump and Cash. Hear our cry, bring the truth to light, let the innocent fly. Amy Ashworth, playing judge and the jury in a county so dirty, soaked in fury. Police and the courts all in on the plot. They framed an innocent man and left his soul to rot, but his family's out marching, banners held high, while supporters flood timelines, refusing to lie. They want silence, we give them the storm, truth blazing through like justice reborn. Every post, every chant, every sleepless night is a spark in the dark that's ready to ignite. This ain't just a song, it's a battle cry for every soul locked up while the guilty lie. We free Mustafa, loud through the chains. Justice corrupted, drowning in pain. From the cell block to the street, we'll never stop till the walls fall down and the charges drop. Free Mustafa, it's more than a name, it's a movement, a mission, exposing the game to Trump and Cash. Hear our cry, bring the truth to light, let the innocent fly. 2 years too long, time to rise above. Truth is power when fueled by love. So we'll march, we'll fight, we'll never let go until Mustafa walks free and the whole world knows.
Okay, I think we're going to start without the body cam. And then when Muhammad gets here, we'll figure out why the internet is not working. Okay, let's just talk. I have a lot of questions for you. The community is dying to hear from the mother of Mustafa Al-Jazari. Now, let me go over here. Let's see. There we go. Okay. We are back. Okay. This is not another boring podcast. We are back. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the police body cam. Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope. We have the mother of Mustafa Al-Jazari. And what I'm going to be doing... Mustafa's mother, how are you today? Hello, hello. Okay?
Thank God for everything.
Okay? You're here. We're here. This community gets to hear from you. And you're here in front of the jail, and you're talking to, hoping that Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, hopefully she looks into the Mustafa file. Now, I'm going to talk in English and Arabic for those that are tuning in that are tuning in Arabic. الوالدة مات مصطفى الجزائري هنا قاعدة قدام السجن وتتسأل الموجودين المسؤولين بهاي المقاطعة كل فايل مزور بالقضية مات مصطفى. أول شيء أريد أشكرك أنه أنت هنا اللي تتمرين به مو قليل. كل يوم أباوع عليك وأشوف شنو تتمرين به القهر اللي عايشة به هدول شنو قاعدين يسوون دي يلعبون بمصطفى بالقضية مات مصطفى وكأنه ماكو أي واحد مسؤول يباوع على شنو قاعدين يسووه. الفايل ضامي. مصطفى قاعد سجن انفرادي. أوكي هاي هنا مصطفى قاعد سجن انفرادي. أوكي صار لهم سنتين على هذا الحال. أوكي والفايل مالته مقفول مضموم بس هسه الفايل بعد ما مقفول ده ينزل على الانترنت. الفايل جبت لك اياه ده ننزله على الانترنت. اوكي بعد ما يقدرون يلعبون they can no longer pretend that this is a sealed file. No, every document is sealed. Now I'm going to take you back to day one when you got the phone call. I remember I called you and I told you, Mama, I just got a phone call from a police officer and يقولون مصطفى بالمستشفى. مصطفى كوما نقلوه in a coma بالهليكوبتر يقول لك مصطفى in a coma. That's a phone call that I got. هذا التليفون اللي جاني وخابرتك قلت لك مصطفى مغمى عليه يقولون. اوكي زين انت رحتي اول شيء رحتي للمستشفى راح صح لما رحتي للمستشفى شنو صار بالمستشفى؟
يعني واحد يروح للمستشفى
لازم نقربين من الميكروفون حتى
واحد اوكي احنا حادثة يعني سمعنا حادثة ابني سوى حادثة وعمار خبرني انه نقلوه بالهليكوبتر. لما اني رحت للمستشفى حتى اشوف ابني غير ابني يعني اريد اشوفه اني لازم اكون بجانبه اكون يمه يعني. لما وصلت للمستشفى اصلا في شيء مو طبيعي يعاملوني معامله مو طبيعي. اقول لهم يا ناس ابني اريد اني اجي يمه اريد اشوف ابني شبيه ابني عايش ميت اريد اشوفه شبيه. زين يعاملوني معامله مو طبيعيه.
شنو الشرطه قال لك بوقتها؟
اي
لما رحت للمستشفى تسألين على مصطفى؟
اي يقول استحمدي ربك ابنك عايش البقيه بحاله خطره او
يعني استحمدي ربك انه ابنك عايش. يعني اكو واحد شرطي يقول للام استحمدي ربك انه عايش يعني بوقتها هذا الشرطي لا فاحص الطريق لا مباوع بالكاميرا بالسياره يعني ما مخلص التحقيق مات انه هذا حادث مال سياره. يعني انت راسا حكمت عليه انه هذا مجرم، هذا مسوي، استحمدي ربك انه هذا الحيوان عايش. يعني شنو الطريقه؟ ليش يتعامل مع والد مع ام
معامله مو
يعني
طبيعيه.
يعني ابنك كان قاعد يعني مغمى عليه، يقول كوما، وانت قاعده باللابي
متعجبه. اني شلون
وهذا
هذا
يجي
يعاملني الشرطه هيك؟ ليش؟ اني ابني واقع.
طيب يقول ليش استحمدي انه ابنك اوكي، يعني شنو شافك محجبه؟ شنو شافك مسلمه على قد ايده عرب؟ يعني يقول لي هاي الامايه استحمدي. وليش يخوف بهاي الامايه؟ يقول لها استحمدي ابنك انه عايش.
معامله مو طبيعيه. وانا كنت متعجبه، اقول ليش هذا هيك؟ يعني شنو اقول له؟ انا دا اقول له إله اقول يعني انت المفروض تساعدني، خليني اشوف ابني. هو ما يردون بعدين يريد يقول لي اذا تحجون او تحجين راح نطلعش برا، نطردك بعد نمنعك تدخلين تقعدين بالصاله مالت الانتظار. حتى بالصاله مالت الانتظار ما يخليني. زين انا كنت متعجبه، اقول ليش هذا كذا يسوي؟ يعني ما ادري. انا
زين
ما ادري شنو يعني كنا متعجبين ليش هذول هيك.
طيب هذا الحكي ما يصدق. يعني واحد لما يحكي هاي القصه، انا اتذكر بوقتها لما تقولين هاي القصه بوقتها هاي المدعي العام قافله الفايل مات مصطفى. يعني ما تقدرين تشوفين البوليس باري. هذا الشرطي كان لابس كاميرا صح؟ كل شرطي هنا
طبعا
اوكي يلبس كاميرا انه
زين. صارت الان بيدي انا
زين.
يعني
بوقتها لما هذا الحكي ينحكى يقول شلون الشرطي يتعامل مع انه يقول لها اذا تسالين عن ابنك او اطلعك ويسجنك. يقول لك I'll drag you off the property.
يسجني او هذا يطلعني برا. ما الشغله هاي يعني بدل ما ياخذني يم ابني حتى اني اطمئن على مصطفى، وبنفس الوقت مصطفى محتاجني. اقول له اني ابني محتاجني.
يعني مصطفى فقد العائله مالته بحادث مع السياره، نقلوه بالهليكوبتر اوكي مغمى عليه اوكي. الدم مالته نظيف باعي، الدم مالته نظيف، نو الكحول نو دراجز، الدم مالته نظيف. فحصوا عندنا ورقه من المستشفى انه دمه نظيف. نقلوه حادث مع السياره، بكل قدرته انه حاول يخلص من الحادث مع السياره. يعني الكمبيوتر اللي بالسياره يقول انه رجليه ضارب بريك على البريك، رجليه طول الوقت على البريك. هذا كمبيوتر، كل سياره بها كمبيوتر. هذا الفايل اللي انا ماخذه اللي دا اعطيك اياه مالت مصطفى، المدعي العام اللي ضامته شنو يقول الفايل هذا؟ اقوال مصطفى مزوره. زين مصطفى الكمبيوتر بالسياره رجله ضارب بريك على بريك ذا هول انتاير تايم، طول الوقت هو دا يحاول يضرب بريك. الشرطه فاحصين السياره ولاقين البريك ما يشتغل. الكاميرا اللي بالسياره مالت مصطفى، اكو كاميرا بالسياره تلاقي انه هو حاول يوقف انه يخلص روحه ويخلص عائلته من يخلص من هذا الحادث مع السياره، بس قضاء وقدر صار حادث مع السياره. يعني كل دليل انه يقول هذا حادث مع السياره. لما انت بالمستشفى وهذا الشرطه يقول لك ما رح اطلعك منها، رح اسجنك اذا تسالين على ابنك ما ادري شنو. تعرفين شنو كانوا يسووا مصطفى؟ زين مو مصطفى الدم مالته نظيف، ضاربي شنو؟ نعطيه 50 mcg اوف fentanyl مخدر من هذا. تعرفين قد 50 mcg اوف fentanyl؟ هو ليش الشرطي ما كان يريد تروحين لي جوا؟
اوكي يعذبون بابننا، يعذبون بي.
مصطفى بالكاميرات، انا شلون اعرف هذه؟ لان عندي الكاميرات مالتهم كلياتهم ومنزلهن على الانترنت. مصطفى ضاربي مخدر 50 mcg اوف fentanyl. تعرفين ايش قد قوه هذا المخدر؟ على قد 9 ساعات هذا الواحد متخدر ما يحس على حاله. وشنو هذا الشرطي قاعد يحكي وياه؟ مصطفى دا يسأل على العائلة مالته، يقول وين عائلتي؟ وين أني؟ وين عائلتي؟ الشرطي يهدئ بي ويقول له عائلتك ما بيها شيء، ما بيهم شيء. بعد 4 ساعات يجي يقول له عائلتك ماتوا. حتى شنو؟ مصطفى مخدريه. وهذا قاعد يسجل بالكاميرا مالته، وعباله انه يسجل تسجيل للمدعي العام. مخدريه ماما، مخدريه. هاي الدوكيومنت باي ذا واي عندي ورقه انه ضاربين ما يحجون بيها هاي. والشرطي قاعد يقول له العائله مالتك ما بيها شيء، ما رح نجيب لك اياها، ما بيها شيء. بعد 4 ساعات على ساعه يطب عليه ويقول له شنو؟ العائله مالتك ميتين. وتلاقين مصطفى يقول، مصطفى قاعد يبكي
تحت التخدير
تحت التخدير مصطفى قاعد يبكي ويقول وين عائلتي؟ ليش قلت لي هيجي؟ انت يعني مصطفى دا يبكي ودا يسأل على عائلته. ولما هذا الشرطي شاف انه ما يقدر يسجل مصطفى مخدر، هو شنو عباله يسجل مصطفى متخدر؟ شافه واحد متخدر
حتى يستخدمها ضده،
حتى يستخدم الفيديو للمدعي العام، يقول ما يريدون يقولون هو مخدر، اوكي، حتى يقولون او لما قلنا له انه عائلتك ميته ما عنده رياكشن،
ما عنده اهتمام،
ما اهتم. باع شلون قتل العائله ماته عمدا وما يهمه. لما قلنا له انت مخدره، ولما شافوا مصطفى دا يبكي على عائلته ويقول وين عائلتي؟ وين اني؟ وين عائله ماتي؟ وظل يبكي، يعني يبكي، يعني شوفين يعني يجي شلون لايك دا يبكي. شنو سوى الشرطي هذا؟ زور الانتراكشن، زور يقول مصطفى ما همه عائلته، ما كان يبكي على عائلته، ما همه، مع انه بالكاميرا اللي ضاميها اللي هسه واقعه بيدي انه مصطفى ما يسوي له، قاعد يبكي على عائله ماته ودا يسال على عائله ماته. وهذا الشرطي زور الحادث، يقول مصطفى ما همه، ضموا الكاميرا، زوروا القضيه، زور انه يعني. وبنفس الوقت لما انت كنت قاعد تسالين على مصطفى، لما باللابي مات المستشفى يقول لك يهددك ويقول لك انا اسجنك واجرك برا، واستحمدي ربك انه ابنك هذا الحيوان. شلون طريقه يعني ما كانوا يعني شنو شافه مسلمه على قديده عربيه انه يتهجم على والده، بس هو قاعد يعذب بمصطفى ويريد يسجل. بس لما ما نجحت الشغله وشاف مصطفى دا يبكي على عائلته، زوروا الفايل، اوكي، يقول لك مصطفى ما كان يهمه، انا هسه عندي تسجيل الكاميرا مات هذا اللي ضاميهن كلهن عندي. مصطفى دا يبكي على عائله ماته وبنفس الوقت قاعدين يصيحون عليك، خايفين تروحين يمه حتى تكشفين شنو قاعدين يسوون.
واني بلحظتها تعجبت، قلت هذا شنو اللي يحكي؟ يعني ليش هيك عاملني؟ يعني انا يعني حتى موجود عندنا الحمد لله، جت بيد عمار الاشياء كلها ومسجل، يعني انا موجوده هناك ودا اقول له يعني انت شبيك؟ يعني انا اول مره اشوف هذا الشرطي يتعامل وياي. يعني انا دا اقول انت ليش تتعاملني هيك بدل ما انت تساعدني؟ انا هذا ابني. يقول لي ايش قد عمره؟ قلت له it doesn't matter، هذا ابني، عمره صغير كبير يظل ابني. اني هذا اوكي ابني، اريد اشوفه ولازم اني اكون بجانبه، اوكي. وهذا زهقان علي، يريد يعاقبني، يريد يطلعني برا او يريد يسجنني، اوكي. الحمد لله والشكر نحن عندنا كله مسجل، البادي كاميرا، وش سوى ويا مصطفى. الحمد لله والشكر، الله ارحم الراحمين، بحيث كل شيء بيدينا الان. براءة مصطفى ابني بايدينا، بس نحن محتاجين ناس
مصطفى
بهذا البلد
يصير اسميك ام مصطفى.
حياتي انت
ام مصطفى
حبيبي.
انا عندي وثيقه بالفايل مات مصطفى اللي ضاميها، لما فحصوا الدم مات مصطفى. اكو فرق لما واحد يحكي ويقول انه هاي ام وكل ام تدافع عن ابنها. اكو فرق كبير لما واحد يقول هاي ام قاعده قدام السجن وكل ام تدافع عن ابنها. اكو فرق كلش كبير لما الفايل اجيب لك اياه واعطيك الفايل واقوم انزله على الانترنت، ولما تقولين ابني بريء، هذا حادث مال سياره، قضاء وقدر، فقد عائلته بالحادث مال سياره، هسه حاطيه سجن انفرادي وما يودوه للمحكمه، خايفين يودوه للمحكمه. انت هسه عندك ادله. رب العالمين وين موجود؟ رب العالمين واحد يقول وين رب العالمين؟ وين المعاجز مات رب العالمين؟ رب العالمين هنا لما تباعين هنا هاي الفايل وتباعين على الدم مات مصطفى. هم شنو هسه خايفين لما هاي الامايه توقف قدام السجن، لما نقول ابني ادعي بحق ابنها وقول ليش حاطين سجن انفرادي؟ ليش ضربوا؟ عندها الوثائق انه هذول مزورين الفايل ولاعبين بمصطفى. ليش؟ لانه عرب، ليش؟ انه مسلمين، وقعوا بيدهم على قديدهم. يقولون هاي الامايه شنو لما تحكي يعني شنو لابسه ربطه حجاب فما حد يباوع عليها، ما حد يباوع على القضيه مات. هم عبالهم هيك. بس المعجزه وين؟ المعجزه انه الفايل بيدك. لما نباوعين هذا التوكسيكولوجي الدم مات مصطفى، الفايل مات مصطفى، لما when you zoom in اوكي هذا الفايل ورقه مات مصطفى الجزاري باي مصطفى blood alcohol non detected. blood alcohol non detected ماكو شيء بدمه. when you look here THC 0.0003. That means there is no drugs in his system. دم نظيف. And this goes to the foundation of the case. لما نباوعين الداش كاميرا، الداش كاميرا مالت السيارة بالكاميرا اللي ضاميها، اكو كاميرا بالسيارة صح؟ اكو كاميرا بالسيارة. المدعي العام إيرانية وحاقدة على العرب. هاي الإيرانية سارة سامي
دا يستخدموها يعني ضدنا،
ودا يستخدموها. يعني شنو هسه اي واحد يباع بالقضيه مات مصطفى يقول لك مسلم بروسكيوت مسلم. انت تعرف هاي الايرانيه حاقده على اي عربي؟ وتشوفه عراقي، يعني تشوفه بالمحكمه تقول يور اونر للقاضي هذا عراقي. انت شنو شاده وياه؟ اوكي شنو تجيبين هذا الحقد مات ايران؟ يعني انت حاقده
تكذب.
اوكي
احنا مسجل صوتها تكذب.
اذا الدم ماته نظيف اوكي 0. no alcohol and 0.03. المدعي العام شنو يقول بالمحكمة؟ المدعي العام شو يقول؟ يقول المحقق الشرطي قال انه مصطفى يعني زور اقواله. المحقق الشرطي المكالمة بوقتها مسجلة، محمد اخوه المصطفى سجل المكالمة بين المحقق وبين مصطفى هذا المحقق مزور اقواله. شنو قايل بالبوليس ريبورت؟ يقول مصطفى قال لي انه انا كنت دا اتعارك ويا البنيه اللي وياي بالسياره. زين اكو تسجيل محمد اخوه المصطفى سجله، مصطفى ما قال هيك، هذا مزور اقواله. زين الكاميرا بوقتها ام مصطفى تتذكرين بوقتها ما يطوش الكاميرا صح؟ تتذكرين حطينا محامي واخذ فوق $55,000 ويجر برجله. تتذكرين لما يقول لك هسه ما عندي الكاميرا
يطول ويعرض قاعد كل يوم نقول له يابا ايش وقت يعني ايش وقت يعطوك الاشياء يعني هذا المحامي
يعني هم الكاميرا ماته كاميرا حاط بالسياره ماته.
هذا المحامي كيس ستيفن اخذ من عندنا مبلغ $55,000 وضحك علينا وطلع هو يشتغل سمسار يشتغل مسوي بزنس. هذا العمل مالته هذا المحامي مسوي بزنس ويا هذه المدعية العام اوكي، يعني ياخذ فلوس من عندنا. وهي بذاك الوقت كان عندها حملة انتخابات، تصوروا حملة انتخابات عندها. الأخ هذا كيس ستيفن المحامي ياخذ من عندنا فلوس ويكتب لها تشيك حتى يساعدها
$4,700 وعندي وثائق على هذا انه هو
بالحملة مالت الانتخابات مالتها.
مصطفى ناطي 4,000 يعني ياخذ فلوسك. طيب باي عالم يعني باي مكان المحامي اللي حاطته لابنك يدفع للمدعي العام اللي رافع قضيه على ابنك، يعني هو المحامي مالت ابنك يروح يدفع لها 4,700 يعني ياخذ يعني هاي ممنوع. يعني اكو محامي يدفع للمدعي العام يعني ياخذ فلوسك يروح يتبرع للمدعي العام، وبعدين بالتسجيلات تلاقيه دا يتفق ويا الشرطي اللي زور الاقوال.
اللي عندنا الدليل الحمد لله، عندنا الدليل انه هذا المحامي يعني متعاطف ومتعامل، يعني هو يشتغل لهاي المدعي العام وللشرطي هذا العنصري اوكي. احنا عندنا الدليل كل الدليل اوكي، بس احنا نريد رايت بيبل اللي يجون ويسوون مقابله ويانا وياخذون كل الاشياء الموجوده عندنا.
هم بالعكس شنو دا يسوون؟ الاخبار ما ينقلون الخبر، هنا قاعدين بمقاطعه حاقدين على اي واحد اسمه عربي اسمه. طيب ليش هاي الامايه ما يجون الاخبار؟ انت هسه بيدش الفايل يجون
يسوون مقابله ويانا اقل شغله.
طيب هسه انت قاعد اكو باي منطقه انه امايه قاعده قدام سجن عندها الفايل اللي مزوريه مات ابنها، وماكو اخبار ينقل الخبر، ماكو ولا قناه تنقل الخبر. شنو دا يصير بهاي المقاطعه؟ ومشنو خايفين منه انه ما يحجون ويا هاي الوالده؟
واحنا
ليش؟
اتصلنا بيهم
لانه شنو محجبه، خايفين يعني شنو يعني على قديدهم قاعده عربيه مسلمه محجبه، انه عبالهم لا من شاف لا من درى الخبر. طيب انت عندك هذا مو بس امايه تدافع عن ابنها، انت عندك الفايل واقع كله بيدك، الكاميرات مالت الشرطه اللي على الكاميرا دا يزورون يلعبون ويا مصطفى، الفايلات انهم مزورين الاقوال مصطفى، عندك كل دليل انه هذا حادث مال سياره. يتهمون مصطفى قتل عمدا، مع انه بالكاميرا انه حادث مال سياره. كاميرا بالسياره مالته موجوده، الكمبيوتر بالسياره يلاقي انه هذا حادث مال سياره. كل دليل عندك انه دليل قاطع انه هذا حادث مال سياره، بس يحطوه سجن انفرادي وما يودوه للمحكمه. باي عالم باي بلد هذا صايره؟
اكو شغله عمار، اكو شغله انه انا هسه بدي اقولها بالعربي، انت تقدر هم تقولها بالانجليزي حتى
نو احنا نحكي بالعربي.
اكو شغله يعني شلون يقول يوجلي بالعاده انه اذا صارت جريمه قتل او شغله من هاي الاشياء وصارت هيك شيء بهاي الكاونتي نفسها، انه يجي رئيس الشرطه ويجيب العالم يلم الناس كلها قدام المحكمه، وهم سووها ويا كيزز ثانيات، يعني ويا فايلات ثانيه، انه يطلعون كونفرنس، يسوون كونفرنس وتجي القنوات وتجي العالم تحضر، عرفت شلون؟ ويسوون كونفرنس، رئيس السجن وهي المدعيه العام هم تطلع والناس تحضر. اذا احنا نريد هيك شيء، ليش ما يسوون بقضيه مصطفى؟ هم يجي ابو الشرطه هذا المسؤول مالت الشرطه ويجيب القنوات وتجي المدعي العام ويسويها بالببليك، يعني قدام الناس هنا قدام العالم.
تدرين ليش ما يسووها؟
اوكي، ونحن نجي احنا نريد نحكي وهم يحكون.
تدرين ليش خايفين يسووها؟
ليش ما يسوون هذا الشيء؟
لانه الادله بالملف انه الشرطه مزورين الملف وضاميه هذا، وهسه دا يطلع، هسه هم خايفين انه هذا دا ينزل. شفتي الورقه مالت انه مصطفى الدم مالته نظيف صح؟ زين خلي اروح هنا. الدم مالت مصطفى نظيف، اوكي، no alcohol no drugs. هاي document no alcohol and no drugs, right? لما نسوين زوم ان، اوكي، لما طبين عليها، اوكي، blood alcohol non detected, THC 0.003. شنو معناته؟ يعني no drugs. اللي بالدم مالته hemp. شنو يعني hemp؟ البنيه اللي وياه بيها كانسر، البنيه بيها مرض كانسر، حتى توخر من الوجع مالتها تستخدم شغله اسمها هامب، هاي ما بيها مخدر. نو دراجز، اوكي، 0.0.03 نو دراجز، يعني
مهدئ للالم،
مهدئ للالم، يعني ما بي دراجز، ما بي مخدر،
يعني
اوكي زين. هامب يعني بس هي هاي الشغله انه هم خايفين منها، لانه المحقق زور اقوال مصطفى وقال مصطفى دا يتعارك ويا البنيه اللي وياه، وضموا الداش كاميرا، الكاميرا بالسياره. ليش ضموها؟ ضموها لانه لما نفتحين الداش كاميرا، الكاميرا اللي حاطه هو بالسياره، تلاقيه دا يشربون جيجاره. هو دا يقول مصطفى قال لي انه دا اتعارك ويا البنيه اللي وياي، مع انه اكو تسجيل انه مصطفى ما قال هيك، وهذا مزور اقواله. فباعي الكاميرا شنو تراوي؟ هاي الكاميرا بالسياره باي. شنو هنا قاعدين يسوون؟ دا يسوق بالسياره، لا دا يمشي بسرعه، لا دا يمشي بغلط،
طبيعي،
اوكي، كل شيء طبيعي. والبنيه اللي وياه باعي الجيجاره اللي قاعد تشربها. اكو واحد دا يتعارك ويا البنيه اللي وياه ودا تعطيه جيجاره وهو يعطيها جيجاره. هم ليش خايفين هسه؟ هاي الكاميرا ضاميها، انا بقتها منهم وجبت لك اياها وقمت انزلها على الانترنت. هاي الكاميرا اللي تتشرب الجيجاره اسمها هامب، مساعد على الكانسر الوجع اللي بيها. بنفس الوقت هي شنو قاعد تسوي لما تشرب هاي الجيجاره تعطيه اياه؟ هذا دليل انه ماكو عركه بالسياره، هذا مزور الاقوال. يقول كان مصطفى دا يتعارك ويا هاي البنيه، مع انه شوفيهم دا يشربون جيجاره وتعطيه جيجاره باك اند فورث
بحب، يعني
8 مرات
بيناتهم حب.
وين يعني العركه اللي دا يحجون بيها؟ ليش ضامين هاي الكاميرا؟ لانهم مزورين الفايل.
كل شيء مبين الحمد
وباع
لله.
شلون قاصين الكاميرا. اراوي شغله
الحمد
ثانيه.
لله. كل شيء
باع اراوي
موجود.
شغله ثانيه. الكاميرا قاصيها اوكي قبل ما توقف. باعي 17 فريم ناقص من الكاميرا. باعي هنا. باعي خلي اراوي الشغله. هاي الكاميرا باي ذا واي الكاميرا توقف قبل ما يصير حادث. اكو كاميرا توقف قبل ما يصير حادث. اوكي الكاميرا قاصيها شنو عندها دماغ؟
قبل عندها دماغ قبل عيد هي عقل الكاميرا حتى توقف قبل ما تصير الحادثه.
مصطفى شنو باعي؟ يسوق السياره لا مسرع باوعنا على الداكمه الدم ماته نظيف ما يمشي بسرعه يمشي سرعه مثل عاديه يعني
ضارب بريك
اوكي
السرعه
باعي هنا دا يعبر السياره اللي قدامه اكو سياره قدامه البنيه اللي وياته تعطيه دايركشن اوكي دا يعبر السياره قدامه اخذ خط يريد يعبر السياره قدامه اوكي لما اخذ هذا الخط باعي هنا باعي شلون دا يعبر هاي السياره قدامه خلص الخط وقف بعد ماكو يريد يرجع للشارع ماكو السياره هاي موقفته باعي هاي السياره ما طببه هنا ضرب بريك اكو ضرب بريك اوكي الشرطه فحصوا السياره ولقوا السياره ما توقف الكمبيوتر بالسياره يلاقي مسيكه رجليه على البريك the whole entire time طول الوقت رجليه على البريك يريد يوقف السياره السرعه مالته خفت من 55 ل 35 بس السياره ما توقف اكو شغله غلط بالبريك الشرطه فحصوا السياره خلي اراوي شيء ثاني فحصوا السياره وهو الشرطي يقول اكو خلل بالبريك اثنين من الكاليبر القدامي واللي ورا اثنين منهم ما يشتغلن هذا الشرطي دا يفحص السياره الكاميرا اللي ضاميها باع الكاميرا اللي ضاميها هذا الشرطي دا يفحص بالسياره وشنو يقول سمعي باع
Brake didn't engage.
بريك did not engage البريك مالته ما يوقف رجليه على البريك بس السياره ما توقف
هاي هم منهم وبيهم هذه الشرطه
هاي كاميرا مالت الشرطه
هذا هاي داخل مالتهم
اللي هم ضاميها
اللي هم
هاي صار له سنتين ضاميها زين اني بطريقه او ثانيه ما اقول شلون اخذتهن بوقتهن منهم اني طريقه طب قدرت اخذهن زين جبتها لهاي الوالده وقمت انزلهن على الانترنت فهسه لما قاعدين هنا وقولين ابني ضاربيه بالسجن ظلموه
وعذبوه
ابني اكو مو امايه كل امايه يقول ابني بريء انت عندك ادله ما يقدرون يلعبون وياك المدعي العام هاي الايرانيه ترجف خايفه هاي الامايه اللي صار لها سنتين تحكي بابنها هسه الفايل وقع بيدها وعندها ادله انه انت عندك ادله انهم مزورين اقوال ابنك ومدعي العام الايرانيه تلعب ويا ابنك ومو بس قاعد تلعب حاطه السجن انفرادي سنتين الامم المتحده يقول لك ممنوع واحد يسجنوه اكثر من اسبوعين سجن انفرادي مصطفى هنا بفرجينيا بهاي المقاطعه صار حاطيه سجن انفرادي بتوقيف بدون حكم فوق السنتين سجن انفرادي خايفين يودوه للمحكمه لانه الاشياء مالته اللي مزوريها رح تطلع قدام القاضي. نرجع للكاميرا ام مصطفى نرجع للكاميرا وتشوفين مو هذا الشرطي فاحصين السياره ويلاقون بريك فيلير ما يشتغلون بريك شوفي يريد يعبر السياره اللي قدامه اوكي دا يمشي ما دا يمشي بسرعه دمه نظيف ما دا يمشي بسرعه دا يحاول يعبر السياره اللي قدامه الخط طلع غلط طب خط غلط يو تيرن خط غلط اوكي يريد يرجع للترافيك السياره هاي موقفته زين ما يقدر يرجع ضرب بريك السياره ما توقف الكمبيوتر بالسياره يلاقي رجليه على البريك طول الوقت رجليه يريد يضرب بريك بس البريك ما دا يشتغل الشرطه فحصوا السياره البريك ما يشتغل ما يقدر يرجع الخط خلص تلاقين السيارات قامن يجن قدامه زين
خلص حاله يعني
ضرب بريك اكو تعرفين اكو المحقق لما فحصوا الشارع لقوا الاثنين البريكات اللي يشتغلن اكو خط مات بريك ضارب بريك قبل ما يصير بالجهه الثانيه. زين يعني اكو ادله انه هو ضارب بريك ويريد يوقف سياره ومحاول يريد هاي يعني اوكي زين. شنو لما هنا ما يقدر يرجع، ما السياره ما توقف، خفف السياره من 55 ل 35. وين يروح؟ زين لما وصل لهاي المرحله عبر كل سياره، خلص حاله من هاي السياره البيضاء، من هاي السياره الثانيه، ومن السياره باع الكاميرا انقطعت. ليش قاطعين الكاميرا؟
ليش يطفي الكاميرا هذا؟
زين اكو كاميرا توقف قبل ما يصير الحادث، ومو بس توقف مصطفى، مو بس توقف الكاميرا، مو هي الكاميرا هاي تشوف الجو بالسياره ويشوف البرة، باع شلون قاصيها. الكاميرا اللي جوا توقف قبل ما الكاميرا اللي برا،
يعني مزورين حتى
قاصيها.
بالفيديو مزورين.
شنو يريدون يسوون هنا؟
مفكرين الناس هبلان.
باع شنو يريدون يسوون هنا؟ اقول لك شنو، مركزين على الشكل مالته، قاصيها حتى ما يراويك الشكل مالته، حتى ماخذين 17 صوره. يعني الكاميرا توقف مثلا هي مو الكاميرا تشوف جوا وتشوف برا، ماخذين 17 فريمز، 17 عكسه من وجهه قبل ما توقف، مع انه قاصيها. شو تشوفين مصطفى؟ شنو الكاميرا مال مصطفى؟ راح اسوي لك زوم، ركز على وجهه. اوكي شوفي هنا، امشيها شويه. زين هنا اوكي، خلي هنا باوع، اسوي زوم. شوفي دا يمشي بالسياره، دا يعبر السياره قدامه. لما حاس اكو غلط باي حلقه، شلون حلقه باي يفتحها
حتى يفوكس، يعني حتى يركز، يريد ينقذ الموقف، يعني
باي
يريد
حلقة
يركز.
مفتوح
يا حبيبي،
لسانه حاطه باللثه مالته. اوكي لسانه حلقه مفتوح ولسانه بانيك، يعني ارتبك بعد، يعني وين يريد يخلص الحادث. اوكي ما يقدر يطب، البريك ما يشتغل، حلقه مفتوح ولسانه حاطه باللثه مالته، ارتبك. وشنو قصوا الكاميرا حتى شنو ما يراويك وجهه كلياته. والمدعي العام بالمحكمه يقول مصطفى ما عنده فيشل رياكشن، ما عاجبك، يعني شنو تريدين نحط ايده بالهواء؟ هو دا يسوق سياره، الشرطي ماتج قاص الكاميرا. عندي دليل على هذا، اكو كاميرا. زين خلينا نرجع على مصطفى.
شنو هالمصلحه هاي؟ مصلحتها اللي يعني دا تعمل المستحيل
باعي
تلبس التهمه براس مصطفى. شنو هاي سارة سامي هاي العجميه؟ اوكي انه جايبين لنا وحده، يعني وحده يضربون يعني راس براس ويانا خليها. وهذه المدعيه العام هي قاعده من ورا، يعني لي ورا، حاطه هذه بالواجهه الايرانيه. اوكي يعني شو هالشغله هاي؟ هذه الشغله مو طبيعيه.
مصطفى
هذا اللي دا يسووه، هذه المدعيه العام اللعبه دا تلعبها مو طبيعيه. اوكي انكشفت ومكشوفين. اوكي وان شاء الله هذه المدعيه العام بالسجن، وهذه سارة سامي البروسيكيوتر بالسجن، وروبرت درام بالسجن، لان دول مجرمين سووا جريمه بحق ابني مصطفى. اوكي وعندنا كل الدليل. وهذا البلد اذا هو بلد قانون مو يجيبون العالم هنا ويستغلوهم. احنا هنا عايشين هنا، وهذول دا يستغلونه. فكروا يسوون تهمه لابني ويذبوه بتهلكه وما حد يدري، بس الله سبحانه وتعالى اقوى منهم. اوكي نطانا كل الدليل، الحمد لله والشكر. اوكي الحمد لله والشكر. عندنا كل دليل يثبت براءة ابني مصطفى. اذا جابونا هنا ويستغلونه هذول، هذا بعدهم انه ياخذون ابني بالزلبطه. ابني هنا أنا مظلوم بهذا السجن. اوكي واني اناشد الناس الكبار هنا اللي بالبلد، اوكي، اللي يدعون انه هذا بلد القانون، هذا بلد القانون، اوكي. ابني عندنا كل دليل براءته، اوكي، وراح نظل نتظاهر ونفضح هذول المجرمين اللي هنا فكروا هم قتلوا المرأة وقتلوا الطفلة، وعندنا دليل هذا عليهم.
يعني ام مصطفى احنا شنو راح نقول؟ احنا شنو
عندنا
نقول؟
دليل انه
احنا
هم
مصطفى لما يخابر كل يوم يسأل يقول ليش ما نقلوا العائلة ماتي بالهليكوبتر؟ اوكي، اكو كان هليكوبتر موجودة، البنية اللي وياه والطفلة اوكي كانوا ستيبل، كانوا يقدرون ينقلوها. حطوها بالسيارة تقريبا فوق الساعة ونص لما توصل للمستشفى. اكو شغلة غلط، احنا ما راح نقول سووها قصدا يقتلوهم، غلطوا وما حطوهم بالهليكوبتر، اكو دليل على هذا. فهسه شنو؟ الفايل مزور، الفايل مالته ضامي. مصطفى لازم عمدا انه هو قتل العائله مالته. كل دليل مصطفى، كل دليل بهاي القضيه انه هذا حادث مال سياره. مزورين الاقوال، مزورين الفايل، وهسه حاطين ما يودوا للمحكمه. ليش ما تودوا للمحكمه؟ احنا شنو ندعي انه احنا بهاي المقاطعه مصطفى لازم يودوه للمحكمه، الافيدنس مالته لازم يحطوها بالمحكمه. باي حق تقعد مصطفى في سجن انفرادي على قد سنتين توقيف وما توديه للمحكمه؟ باي حق؟ بيا بلد انه قانون يسمح لك تسوي هيك، ومصطفى فوقها لما الداعين بحق مصطفى يضربوه بالسجن. يعني انا اراويك شيء، هذا الفيديو قبل لما تجين هنا تقولين للمسؤول مالت الشرطه ابني اريد اوديه للمستشفى، ما طالبين باي شيء، وديه للمستشفى. يعني ضربوه، اجانا تليفون مصطفى قال يعني سمعنا انه ضربوه. بوقتها لما رحنا شفناه مورم، راسه محفر مورم، ايده مورمه. نقول مصطفى رح يموت بسجنكم، نريد نوديه للمستشفى. شنو نطلب منهم هنا؟ لما هنا جيتي وقمتي تظاهرين خايفين،
ليش ما يودوه؟
زين، وبوقتها شنو يقول لك؟ يقول لك ما صار اي شيء، ابنك ما بي شيء. زين، اليوم اراويج فيديو انه بعد ما تقدرون يقولوا لك ما صار اي شيء، ما يقدرون يقولون لهاي الامايه انه ما صار اي شيء، يوزعوها يقولوا لها روح للبيت ابنك كله كذب. زين، هذا مو فيديو.
على سجين ويعذبوه هيك؟ ها؟ على اي اساس؟ يستغلون عندهم يعني قوه، عندهم باور، يعني شنو يستغلون ماخذين ابننا هنا بالغصب، مستغلين الوظيفه مالتهم. شنو يعني شايفيننا مسلمين عرب هنا؟
6 الشرطه يطبون على مصطفى.
شو الاستهزاء هذا؟
6 يطبون على مصطفى ويضربوه بالسجن بالزنزانه، ولما يطلعوه مغمى علي، اوكي، تلاقيه مصطفى نص ملابسه مصلخي،
ونروح نقدم شكوى من الهيد كوارتر بدي سي، قدمنا شكوى ويبعثونا للاف بي اي اللوكل، اللي ببرنس ويليام كاونتي هنا. طلعوا هنا ذول اللوكل اف بي اي هم متفقين ويا هذا السجن.
انا عندي وثائق،
اصدقائهم
مصطفى عندي وثائق على هذا الحكي. الفايل اللي اخذته منهم اللي بايقه منهم، عندي وثائق انه الاف بي اي اللوكل اف بي اي شلون يتفقون ويا السجن حتى يضمون الفيديو. بوقتها قالوا الفيديو ما موجود. مصطفى الفيديو قالوا ما موجود. اوكي، طيب بعد انا شنو انا عندي هسه؟ اوكي، طيب وين الاف بي اي اللي حققوا بضرب مصطفى؟ وليش لليوم مصطفى مو بالمستشفى؟
ليش ما يحجون بها هذا اللوكال اف بي اي؟ احنا رحنا وحضرنا وياهم وقعدنا ويقولون مصطفى ما مضروب. يلا هسه طلع الضرب مات مصطفى، طلعت الدليل انه هم ضربوا مصطفى. ليش ما يحجون ويطلعون ويحاكمون هذا السجن؟ ليش؟ لانه هم عملاء وياهم، ناس يغطون الناس البعض.
زين، اذا اقول لك
they cover up for each other.
اذا اقول لك هذا السجن هذا السجن برايفت جيل يجيب للمقاطعه هاي 60 مليون دولار. هذا سجن مو سجن هذا السجن التوقيف هذا سجن يعني برايفت جيل. هنا بالمقاطعه مالتنا اكو فرق انه وين اس برايفت جيل هذا السجن يجيب هوايه فلوس. فلما يضربون مصطفى اول شيء اللي تحكين عنه الشرطي اللي تحكين عنه الشرطي صار له 20 سنه الشرطي صار له 20 سنه الشرطي صار له 20 سنه الشرطي. فانت لما تقولين هذا الشرطي زور اقوال ابني انت عبالك ما عنده علاقات بهذا السجن انه قاعد جاب له 6 يضربوه حتى يسكتون العائله اللي برا. هو شنو دي يصير هنا؟
وليش يطقون صور لما يعذبون مصطفى؟
يعني مصطفى باعي
ليش يعذبون مصطفى ويطقون له صور وياخذوا له فيديوهات المن يودوهن
مصطفى باي حق يطبون على سجين يضربوه ويطلعوه مصلخ ومغمى عليه باعي شلون يجروه؟
وتحكي لما تحكي ويا اللوكال اف في اي يقول ماكو هيك شيء ماكو ضرب ولا اكو واحد ما ديده عليه. اوكي يلا هسه عندنا الفيديو احنا وين اللوكال اف في اي؟ ها؟ This message is for Kash Patel. We want Kash Patel to look into this video. Okay?
اوكي باعي مصطفى يجروه
اكو واحد هيك يعذبون بيه وين الامم المتحده؟ اوكي؟ شنو مو انسان هذا؟ شنو يعني هذا التصرف؟ يستخدمون قوه مالتهم ويعذبون بابننا على اي اساس؟ مو ابننا سيتيزن على اساس؟ لو احنا ما لنا حقوق هنا كله قشمريات يعني.
باعي راسه شلون محفر باعي راسه هذا بعد اسبوعين اخر شيء بعد ما قدرنا نزوره نلاقي راسه مورم. اوكي هذا راسه وهاي ايده مورمه. ليش لحد اليوم مو مودين المستشفى؟ باي حق تضرب سجين بعدك ما مودين المحكمه؟ ليش؟ لانه دي يفضحكم؟
لانه يفضحهم.
اوكي خايفين انه يريدون يعني شنو يخوفونه. زين
هذه مناشده الناشد المنظمات اللي هنا تدعي انه هم ليش انتم فاتحين مكاتب اذا ما تقدرون تسوون شغل؟ هذا انسان بريء وتعذب هنا. وين المنظمات الاسلاميه وغير الاسلاميه؟ اوكي واكو منظمات ثانيه ACLU. Where is ACLU? Okay? Where is CARE? Why CARE doesn't care? Huh?
We're gonna get to the bottom of it. Okay هذول اللي عبالهم يلعبون ويا مصطفى ومصطفى عبالهم يقولون هاي أماية هاي أماية وكل أماية تدافع عن ابنها. اليوم انت عندك الفايل مات مصطفى ماكو واحد يقول هاي أماية كل أماية تدافع. انت عندك الفايل انهم مزورين الفايل مات مصطفى ولاعبين بالقضية مات مصطفى والداعين بحق مصطفى. عندك الفايل اللي مزوريه وكل يوم رح نطلع ورح نجي لهنا
وبكل مكان مو
ورح نروح عندنا من هذا
لنفضحهم
من هاي البودكاست رح نروح قدام البيت الابيض ونطلب من بريزيدنت ترامب هذول لازم يتحاسبون. احنا عندنا الفايل والفايل اللي هم ضاميه عندنا الفايل ده ننزله على الانترنت ونطلب من الرئيس ترامب من بريزيدنت ترامب انه يباوع على هدول المجرمين اللي دا يلعبون بهذا البلد دا يلعبون بهذا دا يكسرون هذا البلد هذا حلو مبني على قوانين. بأي حق تستخدم السلطة مالتك وتتهدم بهذا البلد اللي مبني على قوانين. نترككم بفيديو مات لما الوالدة كان الشرطي دا يهدد بيها لما كانت اجاها تليفون انه مصطفى مغمى. اوكي بوقتها ما حد ما يصدق بهذا الحكي يقولوا مو معقولة اكو شرطي بامريكا يهدد بوالده يقول ابني اجاني تليفون انه حادث مع سيارة. ام مصطفى قبل ما ننهي البث اريد بس اقول شيء واحد انه هذول رح يتحاسبون ان
شاء الله.
اوكي احنا ما نطلب منك انه انت ديرين بالك على صحتك.
كل ظالم الى نهايه.
خلي ايمانك قوي برب
بالظالم
العالمين.
إلهنا هاي.
والمعجزه انه رب العالمين وقع هذا الفايل بيدك، انه هدول ما يقدرون يلعبون ويا
الحمد
مصطفى.
لله الحمد لله على كل حال.
نقول لك
الله
دير
أرحم
بالك
الله.
على صحتك.
ان شاء الله خير ان شاء الله
ان شاء
خير.
الله ان شاء الله خير.
ان شاء الله. احنا عندنا دليل براءة مصطفى. اوكي. أنا بس أقول رب العالمين إله إرادة بهذه الشغلة اللي تصير كلها. أنا بعض المرات أقول ليش يعني ليش يصير هيك؟ يعني الله إحنا ناس يعني طيبين ومسالمين وعمرنا عشنا نخدم الآخرين. أنا عشت عمري يعني ويا أبو عمار أخدم الناس، يعني ماشية وياه، وهو كان مؤدي دور كلش حلو بالحياة وأنا مقتنعة به. أوكي. يا ما ساعدنا ناس. أقول ليش ابني هنا اجى؟ يمكن رب العالمين مختارنا احنا حتى نستمر بالحياة، نسوي شيء زين يعني بهالدنيا هاي. هذا ابني مصطفى اجى هنا، رب العالمين اختاره. أنا هيك أفكر. أنا أقول الله اختار مصطفى وجاب هذا المكان الظالم، دول ظلام كلهم هذه الكاونتي.
دليل على حكيك انه الفايل اللي انا ماخذه مات مصطفى اللي بايقه منهم مات مصطفى، اني بايق فايلات ثانيه مات ناس ثانيين
مظلومين،
انه مجرمين بحقهم. دا يعاملوهم شلون مصطفى اذا نزل فايلات مات اشخاص ثانيين، انه هذول دا يلعبون ويا ناس ورب العالمين دا يحط ضوء عليهم.
خلي اقول شغله واحده.
نعم.
انه سبحان الله عمار لما اجى بيده هذا البادي كاميرا مات هذا الشرطي، اكو حادثه ثانيه صارت نفس اليوم، انه هذول الشرطه وهو نفسه هذا الشرطي العنصري والرئيس مالته مسوي جريمه بحق انسانه بريئه، هي امريكيه، هي افريقيه امريكيه، مسوي هذول الشرطه مسوين بحق هاي المظلومه، قاتليها واخوها اجى يسال على اخته انه شنو هذه اختي وينها شلون يعني وين اختي، يسال. فالمدعيه العام نفسها هذه اللي ظلمت ابني مصطفى ضمت هذه الجريمه اللي هذول الشرطه قتلوها البنيه. هذه الان الفيديو اللي عمار حاطه، هذول الشرطه اللي ظلموا ابني مصطفى كان حادثه نفس اليوم، قتلوا بنيه بريئه ب50 طلقه، ب50 طلقه قتلوها ضربوها. وبعدين
يعني بالاخبار يقولون شيء ثاني، يقولون احنا جينا على السياره لقيناها برا السياره مع انهم قتلوها بس شنو قتلوها؟ مسجل بالبادي كاميرا مالت الشرطي نفس الشرطي اللي كذب بقضيه مصطفى. بس هذه لو ما هذه واقعه بيدي انا الكاميرا كان ما حد يدري، كانوا متهمين اللي واحد خطيبها زوجها متهميه هو قاتلها، مع انه بالكاميرا مالتهم تبين ضربوها 50 طلقه وقتلوها ويردون يتهمون خطيبها. باع شلون يجروها؟
ابو التشايلد مال الطفل مالته.
باع شلون راح يجروها من السياره؟
فالله سبحانه وتعالى انا اقول ارجع للحكي مالتي الكلامي، اقول انه اني ابني اجى لهذا المكان سبحان الله، اجى جابه الله رب العالمين جاب لهذا المكان حتى يفضح هذه الكاونتي بيها ناس مجرمين، وذولا حوبة ناس ابرياء هوايه. هذه المدعيه العام ظالمتهم والشرطي مالتها مكذب بحقهم، وهنا يمكن معدومين متعذبين مقتولين هنا جوا بالسجن.
17 واحد هناك كاتلين، 17 واحد عندنا اسامي كاتليهم. 17 تخيلي 17 كل واحد عنده عنده اخت عنده اهل، 17 واحد مقتول هنا.
هنا بيد هذول الشرطه الظلام، بيد هذول السجانين مقتولين 17 شخص، ومنهم اخر واحد عمره 18 سنه. احنا جينا بهذا السنه اللي راحت عمره 18 سنه، الاسبوع قتلوه وما خبروا غير ثاني يوم عن القتل مالته. وقتلوه، وبعدين ثاني يوم يجون يعدلون القعده مالته هذا المسكين الطفل عمره 18 سنه ويتهموه يقولون مات بالمخدرات. اذا هو بالسجن منين يجيب المخدرات؟ قتلوه عذبوه وبالتحقيق
مصطفى باعت عنده يسوي
لما يجي اخوها يسال عليها تقول له ما نعرف عنها المدعي العام، تقول ما نعرف عنها وين، ما نعرف عنها. بعدين يطلعون بالاخبار او مع انه مسجل بهذه البودي كاميرا. سبحان الله مسجل ضربوه 50 طلقه وقعدوا يتمضحكون شلون بلط شلون طلقات حلوه. شوف يستهزئون بالانسان. وين الدولة عنهم هذول المجرمين؟ ها؟ يلا احنا هنا قاعدين. احنا قاعدين هنا.
اكو واحد يسوي شيء بواحد؟
احنا نطالب بالعدالة. اي. على اي اساس شرطي يوظفوه ويأذي العالم؟ الشرطي المفروض يخدم العالم هنا مو يأذيهم.
باع شنو يقولون بالاخبار؟ باع بالاخبار يعطون قصة.
اي.
بالاخبار اوكي
يحجون شغله الشكل.
بالاخبار يقول لك احنا لقينا هاي البنت برا السياره لما جينا شفناها برا السياره، مع انه بالكاميرا مالتهم اللي ضاميها اللي وقعت بيدي شنو يقول؟ اوكي ضارب رامين السياره 50 طلقه، بعدين يجروها يطلعوها من السياره يحطوها مكان ثاني ويقولون الاخبار احنا لقيناها. انت اللي قتلتها. هاي باع بالاخبار شنو يقولون؟ باع بالاخبار شنو يقولون؟
An update now. The New York woman found dead in northern Virginia after she was abducted. Police say they found the body of Tatiana David Wednesday night beside the SUV believed to have been used to kidnap her along I-95 in Quantico. Dave Laval spoke to her family just a short time ago.
شوف الكذب.
The family of Tatiana David is left with many questions, according to her sister, Olivia Valerio.
Everyone's doing as best as they can, but, you know, it's hard. She just left so suddenly, you can't really, gather it.
Virginia State Police found her body late Wednesday night along I-95 in Quantico. It was beside the SUV.
شفت شنو يقولون؟ لقيناها بالسايدز ذا اس يو في برا السياره، مع انه الكاميرا يقول هم يجروها يعني رموها السياره قتلوها وجروها من السياره طلعوها برا. احنا لقيناها برا يعني شنو مع انه المدعي العام نفس المدعي العام اللي تكذب على مصطفى نفس المدعي العام
ايمي اشور شنو
تقول؟ تروح تضم الكاميرا تروح للاخبار تعطي قصه ثانيه نفس تسويه مصطفى. ايش قد مجرمين جارمين بحق ناس انه رب العالمين دا يستخدم هاي القضيه انه يحط ضوء على هذول.
هذه حوبه هاي المسكينه اللي قتلوها ب50 طلقه. هذه ما لها حوبه، هذه انسانه، هذا خلق الله خالقها. تيجي انت الشرطي يعني مجرم تسوي روحك انت تخدم العالم. احنا نريد نفضحهم على مستوى العالم. هذه الكاونتي برنس ويليام كاونتي لازم نفضحهم للعالم كله. لازم نقول اوكي للعالم كله هنا اكو مجرمين اوكي يستخدمون الباج، يستخدمون الرتبه مالتهم ويظلمون الناس اوكي، ويظلمون العالم ويدخلوهم هذا السجن ويعذبوهم ويموتوهم. اوكي
انا اقول لك احنا رح نروح قدام البيت الابيض
ان شاء الله
نروح قدام البيت الابيض وانا عندي الفايلات، عندي الفايل مات مصطفى،
نروح لكل المكانات،
عندي الفايل مات مصطفى، عندي الفايل مات اشخاص، عندي الفايل مات اشخاص ثانيين انه المدعي العام ظالمه مصطفى وظالمه اشخاص ثانيين. رح نروح قدام البيت الابيض
ان شاء الله.
زين
ان شاء الله.
لا نحكي بالقضيه وانا عندي ادله على الحكي مالتي. انت عندك ادله على ابنك انه هذول لاعبين بالقضيه مات مصطفى. يعني مو امايه قاعده قدام البيت الابيض تقول ابني. انت عندك الفايل مات مصطفى اللي لاعبين بابنك وتقولين لما اقول لك وين رب العالمين اقول لك رب العالمين هنا. المعجزه انه رب العالمين وقع الفايل بيدك. احنا نروح البيت الابيض ونطالب الرئيس ترامب نقول له دونالد ترامب هذا البلد مبني على قوانين. بأي حق هدول يستخدمون الشرطه يعني انه يهدمون هذا البلد.
يستخدمون الباور مالتهم.
يستخدمون القوه انه يهدمون هذا البلد. هذا البلد رح يتحطم بسبب هذول.
بسبب هذول المخربين المجرمين اللي يشتغلون.
وانا اقول لك
يستخدمون القوه مالتهم، يستخدمون الرتبه مالتهم ويأذون العالم. Okay.
We're going to go in front of the White House.
Yeah.
And we're going to ask President Trump to look into this county. We have the file that is sealed by Commonwealth Attorney Amy Ashworth. I have a file that I want President Trump to look into.
Inshallah.
And tell me that there is no corruption here. Tell me that they didn't falsify Mustafa's police report. They didn't falsify every file in Mustafa's case. Why does Mustafa sit without due process? Why does he sit in solitary confinement for over 2 years in a Commonwealth attorney that refused to take him to trial? Mustafa is deteriorating inside the jail because the correctional officer beat him and they refused to take him to the hospital. A prosecutor that refused to take him to court. Exculpatory evidence that they won't put on the record. We're gonna ask President Trump to look into the Mustafa case and look into this Commonwealth attorney and how she's protecting police officers that are engaged in police misconduct. And
مو بس هاي الشغلة. I'm gonna maybe say it in English. Any lawyer.
This whole time you speak English?
Any lawyer.
I love you. I love you. I ask you to stay strong.
حياتي إن شاء الله.
I love you.
بعون الله.
These people profiled you. They underestimated you.
Yeah.
Okay? Did they not know that you're a programmer? I mean, you have a degree, you're a programmer. You speak beautiful English. What? You're wearing a scarf? So that makes you think that you can take advantage of this mother? Why? Because she's Muslim? Well, here we are. Did you expect, Prosecutor Sarah Sami, did you expect that it was going to get this far? We're going to be in front of the White House. We have your file, and we're going to talk. And we have the evidence that you're hiding. Beautiful, the mother of Mustafa is going to expose what you do behind closed doors. And she speaks really good English. So her voice will be heard.
Hayati, thank you. I just want to give message. Any lawyer took this case and he had the evidence that Mustafa is innocent and didn't present the evidence, okay, and didn't do right job. Any lawyer, they're going to be
they're going to be held accountable. I promise you that they're going to be held accountable.
This message is for last lawyer.
They're going to be held accountable by law.
Who's holding this case? To the Mr. Haywood. Hey, Mr. Haywood, do your job right. You have the evidence. Do it. You will be famous. If you don't do a good job, it's gonna go back to you. You're gonna be like.
I mean, this is a public case. What you're saying, this is a public case. The community is watching the file get unsealed, leaked on the internet. There is no room. And our message is very clear for Defense Attorney Haywood. We have bad experience with previous attorneys that went to the Commonwealth Attorney and made deals with her. Took our money, made deals with her. What we're saying, we have a good relationship with you. If the case is getting leaked on the internet, we ask you to also be public. I mean, our question is, what is your media strategy for? I mean, you have a Commonwealth attorney on NBC4 that's lying about Mustafa. She's already on NBC4. The police department is on NBC4. The investigator, they're all lying about Mustafa. It makes no sense that his defense attorney does not come out and be public. You have a Twitter. You have a platform. You should talk about your client. I mean, this is a public case. The previous attorney took our money, lied about Mustafa. Well, this case is getting leaked on the internet. What the mother of Mustafa Al-Jazari is trying to tell you is there is no room for bullshit.
Yep.
There is no room for bullshit. I mean, the community is watching.
Yeah.
The file is leaked on the internet. They falsified the whole case. There's no room for bullshit. We have a good relationship with Brad Haywood. And we're gonna we hope and we pray that you're the right lawyer.
To do his right job.
I mean, you have a good reputation.
Yeah.
And we pray that you are the attorney that's gonna be honest, not like the previous attorneys.
Yeah.
And all we're asking for you to do your job, sir. There is no room for bullshit.
Before it's too late and you're going to be same as the other, okay, they're going to be held accountable anyway. Any lawyer
On that note,
any lawyer took
on that note,
Mustafa's case.
I mean, what are we asking from the defense attorney? I mean, there is no mystery
We need
here.
justice.
Oh, I mean,
We need justice.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. What we're asking the new defense attorney to subpoena the SD cards that the Commonwealth attorney, Officer Zymus, admit that they're in possession of the audio. Investigator Robert Drum on a police body cam admit that he heard the content that Mustafa was door dashing. No, he said I saw Mustafa door dashing, and I heard he said I heard Mustafa and Dorothy talk about courts. So this dash camera does have audio. That's one. That's why you should get a expert to subpoena the SD card. One, you're going to see Mustafa door dashing, and you're going to have the audio. Two, inspect Mustafa's vehicle. I mean, there is no mystery here. Hire an expert. The county gave you $50,000. Hire an expert to inspect Mustafa's vehicle and the SUV that we have evidence that turned into Mustafa. It's going to give you the steering angle. That's two. You should file for a change of venue.
Yep.
I mean, the Commonwealth attorney and the police department publicly came out and lied and falsified Mustafa's case. You expect that Mustafa is going to get a fair trial? This county, they had the brother lie about Mustafa on the news. How does your client, does that not affect the jury pool? How is your client going to have a fair trial? You should file for a change of venue. This prosecutor is maliciously prosecuting and going after Mustafa. Now, that's three. You should subpoena the body cam of Officer Andrew Margiotta, the DC police officer. He made contact with Dorothy, Mustafa's girlfriend, and he said she was reaching for, Dorothy was, according to DC Officer Margiotta, and the off-duty paramedic, Dorothy and 5-year-old Empress were stable. Officer Margiotta made contact with Dorothy, 5-year-old Empress, and Mustafa. He was the first police officer on scene before the 911 calls came in. At 6:30, he was there. This dash camera is going to show you everything that happened. Mysteriously, that's deleted out of evidence.com. In the file, he said, I uploaded my body cam to evidence.com. Why is it not there? The police department is actively deleting crucial evidence out of Mustafa's case. Does that not bother you? Unfortunately for them, DC keeps their police body cam. We contacted them. They keep it in the metadata for 10 years. So you can still subpoena that dash camera. Now, you should... what else?
Yeah,
I mean,
just
so the bottom line is
هذا المحامي tell this lawyer, people are not stupid.
The community is not stupid, and we're all watching.
And we are not stupid.
Yeah.
Okay? We are not stupid. So be straight and do your job before you will be counted same as other who didn't do their right job.
What you're saying, there is no room for bullshit.
Yeah.
The community is watching Mustafa's case.
By now, he should know everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's no room for bullshit. The community is watching this case. And we look forward to having a really good relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, so far we have a good relationship.
Yeah.
A really good relationship. We're waiting for you to familiarize yourself with the case. And at one point, you're going to be just as familiar as the community.
He promised us by June he will come up with something.
Okay, so we're gonna we covered enough about what we need going forward. And we're asking you to be public. Now, did you want to say anything before we end the podcast?
I just want to say we have more video coming out.
Your son stole more files?
Yeah, we
I
have
a lot
more
of files.
video coming out to show the community what Robert Drum did, the crime he did, more and more. Okay, we have more. We will keep exposing Prince William County, okay, until justice is served, okay, until this system become clean and from corruption, okay? Yeah.
I love you. I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank the mother of Mustafa Al-Jazari for being here. I look forward to having many more conversations with you. And we're going to be in front of the White House. We're going to be conducting this whole podcast. And we ask on President Trump to look into this corruption. Now, our message is clear. I want to remind everybody that when we're on this podcast, I don't want you to take away that. What I want to remind everybody that the majority of police is serving this community, put their life on the line every single day. Stafford Police, Prince William County Police, the deputy sheriff, the correctional officers in this jail that's behind me, they serve this community every single day. They put their life on the line every single day. I have a great relationship with police officers. I have a lot of friends that are police officers. Stafford County, Prince William County, deputy sheriffs, correctional officers. Now, what we do here on this podcast is we have files on specific police officers, files on specific deputy sheriffs, files on specific correctional officers. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about all the police. That's not what we're saying here. We're saying the majority of police serve this community, but we're asking for accountability into those police officers that engage in falsifying and police misconduct. And we ask Commonwealth Amy Ashworth to do better. Shame on you for sealing off body cams of police officers that engage in police misconduct. Shame on you. Your job is not to protect police misconduct. Your job is to have accountability in this community. That's why you were elected. I remind you. Thank you for being here. I want to leave you with the body cam that we talked about earlier when the mother of Mustafa Al-Jazari was in the hospital, and you had Chad Mason threaten her and talk to her and intimidate this mother while Mustafa was being tortured inside the hospital. On that note, thank you for being here. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa, through the police body cam, Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope.
أقدر أقول حياتي الحمد لله الله يرحم الراحمين الحمد لله.
Hello. Y'all here for Mustafa? Okay. My name is Investigator Mason. I'm one of the ones investigating the crash he was involved in this evening. He's in the back. He's getting some further testing and whatnot done right now. We have some more talking we need to do with him. And then once we get all that taken care of, we'll bring some of y'all back.
But I want to see him.
I'm sorry?
I want to see him.
Okay, well, you're going to have to wait.
I want to talk to him.
Okay, well, you're going to have to wait.
The reason I asked for you, I want you to take me to him.
Okay, that's not happening right now.
I'm his mom.
Okay.
If he's sick, if he got injured, I will talk to him.
Ma'am.
I want to talk to him.
Okay, ma'am.
I want to see if he's awake.
Okay. He is awake. He is getting testing done. We have a little more to do for our investigation. Then you'll be able to come back and talk to him. He is an adult.
But he needs someone to talk to him. I know. I want to talk to him.
How old is he?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
No.
Because you're not coming back.
No.
If he was underage,
No.
then he can come back. He can come back. He's not underage. We have to do some more investigative work right now.
How long?
I'm sorry?
For how long?
I don't know yet. It depends on your son.
You need someone with him. I need to meet.
He is fine.
He needs me.
No, he's fine. He doesn't need anybody with him. He's awake. He will. You can stay here and wait until we're done. Okay. Once we're done, then.
But I'm asking you the truth about his condition.
I don't know. He's getting testing done. I just got up here about 10 minutes ago myself.
Did you tell
Okay.
He's awake.
He's awake. Yeah, I talked to him on the scene. And he's awake, and he's awake here. Okay.
Can I FaceTime him?
No,
It's okay. FaceTime him.
ma'am. You're going to have to wait. Okay. Be happy. Your son is awake. It is better than the other people that were in his car.
Yes.
So I'm going to need you to work with us. Do we understand?
I understand, but you should understand me. He's
Ma'am.
my son.